Chapter 1. Your license to drive. Who may drive a motor vehicle in Texas? Individuals who meet the following criteria may drive a motor vehicle in Texas. Residents. Texas residents who have a valid Texas driver license. New Texas residents who are properly licensed have 90 days, after entry into Texas, to secure a Texas driver license. Any person, while driving or operating any road machine, farm tractor, or implement of husbandry temporarily operated or moved on a highway is exempt from having a Texas license, unless the vehicle is a commercial motor vehicle. Non-residents. Any non-resident who is at least 16 years of age and possesses a valid driver license issued in the non-resident's home state or Canadian province. Non-residents at least 16 years of age who meet these criteria may drive a vehicle permitted to be operated with a Class C or Class M driver license in Texas. Non-residents who are at least 18 years of age may drive any vehicle in Texas if they are legally licensed to drive such a vehicle in their home state or country, and the home state or country grants like recognition, reciprocity, to citizens of Texas. Military. The driver of an official U.S. or state military service motor vehicle may drive a vehicle without a valid Texas driver license, unless the vehicle is a commercial motor vehicle. A non-resident on active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces, the member's spouse, or dependent child who has a valid license issued by his/her home state. Any person on active military duty who holds a valid driver license issued by the U.S. Armed Forces in a foreign country may drive a motor vehicle in Texas for 90 days from the date of their return to the U.S. Unless a license is suspended, canceled, revoked or denied, a Texas driver license held by any person who enters or who is in the U.S. Armed Forces will remain valid as long as the service continues, and person remains absent from Texas and the absence does not exceed 90 days from the date the licensee is honorably separated from service or returns to Texas. Types of Texas driver licenses. Learner license, instruction permit. A learner license, also known as an instruction permit, allows a student driver to legally practice driving when accompanied by a licensed driver. The licensed driver must be at least 21 years of age with at least 1 year of driving experience, must occupy the seat beside the driver, and cannot be intoxicated, asleep, or engaging in any activity that prevents observation and response to the actions of the driver. A learner license will indicate learner license on the front of the card and expire on the minor's 18th birthday. A person applying for a learner license must 1. Be at least 15 but no more than 18 years of age. 2. Complete the classroom portion of a driver education course, vision exam, and knowledge exam. 3. Meet all other requirements for a first-time driver license, original, applicant. 4. Pay a fee of $15 for license plus $1 administrative fee. For applicants less than 18 years of age, the license expires on their 18th birthday. Applicants 18 years of age and older who wish to legally practice driving are issued a Class C license with the same restrictions as a learner license. The license is generally valid for 6 years and costs $24 plus a $1 administrative fee. Verification of enrollment and attendance (VO) form. If you are under 18 years of age and applying for your first Texas driver license, learner license, or provisional license, you must provide evidence that you 1. Have obtained a high school diploma or its equivalent, or 2. Are a student enrolled in a public, private, or home school and attended school for at least 80 days in the fall or spring semester preceding the date of application, or 3. Have been enrolled for at least 45 days and are enrolled at the time of application in a program to prepare individuals to pass the high school equivalency exam. This information is included on the Verification of Enrollment and Attendance (VO) form issued by your school. Ask school officials to complete and sign the VO form. The VO may not be dated more than 30 days before the date of application for a license during the school year or more than 90 days during the summer. The VO must be presented to the Driver License Customer Service Representative (CSR) when applying for, renewing, or removing permit restrictions from a license. Hardship license. A hardship license, previously known as Minor Restricted Driver License or MRDL, may be issued to a minor who establishes the necessity to drive and may have restrictions based on the qualifying hardship. An application for a hardship license DL77 must be executed by an authorized adult on behalf of the minor. Both the adult and the minor must sign the form and present it in person at the driver license office. Only a parent, guardian, or person having custody of a minor may make application on behalf of a minor. If the minor does not have a parent, guardian, or custodian, then an employer or county judge may apply on behalf of the minor. A person applying for a hardship license must 1. Be at least 15 years of age but not more than 18. 2. Complete and pass a driver education course. A driver education course includes both the classroom and behind-the-wheel phase, vision, knowledge, and driving exams. 3. Meet all other requirements for a first-time driver license original applicant. For more information, please visit our website, www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/teendriver.htm. DPS may require supporting documentation or conduct an investigation to confirm the information provided on the application. DPS will issue a hardship license if it is determined that 1. Failure to issue the hardship license will result in an unusual economic hardship for the family of the minor applicant. 2. The hardship license is necessary due to an illness, disability, or death of a family member. 3. The hardship license is necessary because the minor applicant is enrolled in a vocational education program that requires a license for participation. 4. A court order requiring issuance of the hardship license is presented. Graduated driver license GDL. Teenagers and young adults have the highest crash rates of all drivers, and motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for U.S. teens. Young drivers make up 6.5% of the driving population but are responsible for 13% of fatal crashes. The Graduated Driver License (GDL) program eases teens into the driving experience by phasing in driving privileges and minimizing exposure to high-risk situations. The GDL program applies to driver license applicants under 18 years of age and has contributed to a decrease in fatal crashes in recent years. As a part of this program, all new driver license applicants are required to pass a driving exam conducted at a driver license office or authorized testing facility. The GDL program consists of two phases. Phase 1 applies to learner licenses. Phase 2 applies to provisional licenses. All drivers less than 18 years of age must meet the licensing requirements for a learner license or provisional license, but they are also subject to additional requirements, including driver education and the GDL program. Phase 1. This phase requires applicants under 18 years of age to hold a valid learner, hardship, or combination of learner and hardship license for a minimum of 6 months prior to the issuance of a provisional license. If your license is suspended during Phase 1, then the initial 6-month period is extended by the number of days of the suspension because your license is invalid during the suspension period. A Texas learner license will be issued to new Texas residents who are at least 15 years of age, present an out-of-state instruction permit, and submit a VO form. A Texas learner license must be held for 6 months from the date of issuance before the individual is eligible for Phase 2. Phase 1 requirements do not apply to Class M motorcycle licenses. Under the GDL program, there is no minimum time a person must hold a restricted motorcycle or moped license before applying for a Class M license. Phase 2. Phase 2 restricts the driving privileges of individuals until their 18th birthday following the issuance of a provisional license. During Phase 2, these individuals may not drive a motor vehicle. 1. With more than one passenger in the vehicle under the age of 21 who is not a family member. 2. Between midnight and 5 a.m. unless the operation of the vehicle is necessary for the driver to work, to attend or participate in a school-related activity, or due to a medical emergency. All drivers who are under 18 years of age are restricted from using a wireless communication device, including a hands-free device, except in case of an emergency. Provisional license. A provisional license is a driver license issued to persons 16 to 18 years of age that has the Phase 2 GDL driving restrictions applied. The license will be marked provisional and expire on the license holder's 18th birthday. A person applying for a provisional license must 1. Be at least 16 but not more than 18 years of age. 2. Complete and pass a driver education course. A driver education course includes both the classroom and behind-the-wheel phases, vision, and driving exams. 3. Have held a valid learner, hardship, or combination of learner and hardship license for at least 6 months. 4. Meet all other requirements for a renewal driver license applicant. Out-of-state license holders. Applicants who are at least 15 but less than 18 years of age and present a valid out-of-state instruction permit will be issued a Phase 1 learner license. Applicants who are at least 16 but less than 18 years of age and present a valid out-of-state driver license will be issued a Phase 2 provisional license with passenger and time restrictions after successful completion of the driving exam. Applicants must meet all other requirements for a first-time original applicant. All licenses issued to persons less than 21 years of age will be marked under 21. Classes of driver licenses. Class A, B, C, and M driver licenses are issued to individuals who are exempt or not required to obtain a commercial driver license (CDL). Most non-commercial driver licenses issued to persons 18 years of age and older are valid for 6 years and cost $24. A $1 administrative fee will be added to in-person or online transactions. Some applicants receive licenses with shorter terms due to restrictions including, but not limited to, verification of lawful presence, sex offender registration requirements, or being 85 years of age or older. Individuals who operate any of the following vehicles are exempt from obtaining a CDL but may need a Class A or Class B non-commercial driver license because the type of vehicle driven still meets the definition of a commercial motor vehicle. For more information on commercial motor vehicles and requirements for a CDL, please visit our website, http://www.txdps.state.tx.us/driverlicense/commerciallicense.htm or see the Texas Commercial Motor Vehicle Driver's Handbook. You may download the handbook online at http://www.dps.texas.gov/internetforms/forms/dl-7c.pdf. 1. A firefighting or emergency vehicle necessary for the preservation of life or property or the execution of emergency governmental functions whether operated by an employee of a political subdivision or by a volunteer firefighter. 2. A military vehicle or a commercial motor vehicle when operated for military purposes by military personnel, members of the Reserves and National Guard on active duty including personnel on full-time National Guard duty, personnel on part-time training, and National Guard military technicians. 3. A recreational vehicle driven for personal use. 4. A vehicle that is owned, leased, or controlled by an air carrier, and is driven or operated exclusively by an employee of the air carrier only on the premises of an airport, on service roads to which the public does not have access. 5. A vehicle used exclusively to transport seed cotton modules or cotton burrs. 6. A vehicle controlled and operated by a farmer. Used to transport agricultural products, farm machinery, or farm supplies to or from a farm. Not used in the operation of a common or contract motor carrier, or used within 150 miles of the person's farm. Class A driver license. A Class A driver license permits a person to drive 1. Any vehicle or combination of vehicles described under a Class B or Class C driver license, and 2. A vehicle or combination of vehicles with a gross combination weight rating (GCWR) of 26,001 pounds or more, provided the gross vehicle weight rating (GVWR) of the vehicles towed is in excess of 10,000 pounds. A Class A driver license does not permit a person to drive a motorcycle or moped. Table 2. Class A driver license. Minimum age, 18 or older, applicants 18 to 24 are required to successfully complete an approved driver education course. Fee, $24 for license plus $1 fee equals $25. Expiration, 6 years. Minimum age, 17 with completion of an approved driver education course. Fee, $15 for license plus $1 fee equals $16. Expiration on applicant's next birthday. Class B driver license. The Class B driver license permits a person to drive 1. Any vehicle included in Class C. 2. A single vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating (GVWR) of 26,001 pounds or more, and any such vehicle towing either a vehicle with a GVWR that does not exceed 10,000 pounds or a farm trailer with a GVWR that does not exceed 20,000 pounds, and a Class B driver license does not permit a person to drive a motorcycle or moped. Table 3. Class B driver license. Minimum age, 18 or older, applicants 18 to 24 or required to successfully complete an approved driver education course. Fee, $24 for license plus $1 fee equals $25. Expiration, 6 years. Minimum age, 17 with completion of an approved driver education course. Fee, $15 for license plus $1 fee equals $16. Expiration on applicant's next birthday. Class C driver license. 1. A single vehicle or combination of vehicles that are not included in Class A or Class B, and 2. A single vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, of less than 26,001 pounds, towing a trailer not to exceed 10,000 pounds, GVWR, or a farm trailer with a GVWR that does not exceed 20,000 pounds. 3. An autocycle, defined as a motor vehicle, other than a tractor, that is, designed to not have more than 3 wheels on the ground when moving. Equipped with a steering wheel. Equipped with seats that do not require the operator to straddle or sit astride the seat. Manufactured and certified to comply with federal safety requirements for a motorcycle. A Class C driver license does not permit a person to drive a motorcycle or moped. Table 4. Class C driver license. Minimum age, 18 or older, applicants 18 to 24 or required to successfully complete an approved driver education course. Fee, $24 for license plus $1 fee equals $25. Expiration, 6 years. Minimum age, 16 with completion of an approved driver education course. Fee, $15 for license plus $1 fee equals $16. Expiration on applicant's 18th birthday. Minimum age, 15 with the approval of a hardship license. Fee, $5 for license plus $1 fee equals $6. Expiration on applicant's next birthday. Class M driver license. The Class M driver license permits a person to drive a motorcycle or moped. Before applying for a Class M license, you must pass a motorcycle operator training course approved by DPS. Motorcycle training course providers require drivers who are less than 18 years of age to present proof of completion of the classroom phase of a driver education course, hold a learner license issued after completing the classroom phase of a driver education course, or hold a valid Class C license prior to enrolling in a motorcycle operator training course. Minimum age. Motorcycle. 16 with completion of the classroom phase of a driver education course, 32 hours, and a DPS approved motorcycle operator training course, 16 hours. Moped, 15 years of age with completion of the classroom phase of a driver education course, 32 hours, and a DPS approved motorcycle operator training course, 16 hours. Motor-driven cycle of 250 cc or less. 15 years of age with DPS approval for a hardship driver license or completion of the classroom phase of a driver education course, 32 hours, and a DPS approved motorcycle operator training course, 16 hours. For more information on Class M driver licenses, please visit our website, http://www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/motorcycle-license.htm, or see the Motorcycle Operator's Manual. You may download the manual online at http://www.dps.texas.gov/internetforms/forms/dl-8.pdf. Table 5. Class M driver license. Type, 18 and older. Amount, $24 for license plus $1 administrative fee equals $25. Expiration, 6 years. Type, under 18. Amount, $15 for license plus $1 administrative fee equals $16. Expiration, on applicant's 18th birthday. Type, add M amount. Add M to current license requires a $15 exam fee plus $1 administrative fee equals $16. Expiration, expires with license. type, renewal, amount. An additional $8 is required when renewing a Class M license plus $1 administrative fee equals $9. Expiration expires with license. Fees and driver licenses for veterans. Veterans who are honorably discharged and receive compensation for a service-related disability of at least 60% are exempt from paying driver license and ID card fees. Individuals applying for a CDL or who are required to register as a sex offender are not eligible for this fee exemption. The veteran must meet all other licensing requirements. Veterans designation on driver license. DPS offers a veteran designation on the face of the driver license and identification card, ID, for qualifying veterans. For more information on the veteran designation, visit our website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/vetservices.htm. Identification, ID, cards. In addition to driver licenses, DPS issues ID cards with a photograph of the applicant. ID cards have a distinguishing number similar to a driver license and are maintained in the driver record file. ID cards are displayed in a vertical format for individuals who are less than 21 years of age and are horizontal for individuals who are 21 years of age and over. Applicants must provide documents in accordance with DPS ID card policy requirements. For a list of acceptable documents to obtain an ID card, visit our website, http://www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/applyforid.htm. Table 6. Identification, ID, cards. Minimum age. ID cards can be issued to any person of any age. Anyone under the age of 21 will have under 21 printed on the card. Fee. $15 card plus $1 fee equals $16, 59 or younger. Or if you are 60 or older, $5 card plus $1 fee equals $6. Expiration 6 years. Medical and emergency information. On the reverse side of the card, state law requires DPS to print the statement directive to physician has been filed at telephone. Hash and emergency contact number. Space is provided on the surface for the license holder to write a telephone number and a box to the left of the statement to indicate why the telephone number is provided. Space is also provided on the back of the card to allow individuals to voluntarily list health conditions which may impede communication with a peace officer. Additionally, an application for an original, renewal or replacement driver license or ID includes the option to provide the name, address and telephone number of two individuals who may be contacted in the event of injury or death of the applicant. Allergic reaction to drugs. DPS does not print medical information on driver licenses or ID cards. To add medical information to the back of your driver license or ID card, use a permanent ink pen and write the following information. 1. Name of your physician. 2. Emergency contact number. 3. Name of medication that may cause an allergic reaction. Organ donation. DPS offers Donate Life Texas pamphlets to any person who visits a driver license office. The pamphlets provide general information on the Donate Life Texas program. If you choose to be an organ donor, a small red heart with the word donor will be printed in the lower right corner on the front of the card. Cards that indicate a person's wish to be a donor shall be conclusive evidence of a decedent's status as a donor and serve as consent for organ, tissue, and eye donation. You can register to be an organ, tissue, and eye donor online at www.donatelifetexas.org. Voluntary contributions. If you are applying for an original or renewal driver license or ID card, you can voluntarily make a monetary contribution to the following programs. 1. The Blindness Education, Screening, and Treatment Program administered by the Texas Commission for the Blind, which provides screening and treatment for those individuals who are without adequate medical coverage. 2. The Glenda Dawson Donate Life Texas program, which manages the donor registry and statewide donor education projects. 3. The Veterans Assistance Fund, which provides grants to local government and nonprofit organizations to enhance or improve veteran assistance programs that address the needs of veterans and their families. How to obtain a Texas driver license. If you are applying for a Texas driver license, you must comply with the following procedures. Applying for a Texas driver license. An application for a driver license must be made in person. You can obtain an application at any driver license office or download an application from our website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/applyforlicense.htm. All in-office applicants are provided an opportunity to complete a voter registration application. All men 18 to 25 years of age who are U.S. citizens or immigrants are automatically registered for selective service upon issuance of an ID card or driver license. Required documents and application information. To apply for a Texas driver license, you must provide the following documents and information. 1. Your full name, proof of residential address, mailing address, current county of residence, place of birth, and date of birth. 2. Identification documents. 3. Social Security card or other acceptable evidence of a Social Security number. 4. Thumb or index fingerprints. 5. Physical description. 6. Answer the medical status and history questions listed on the application. Individuals with certain medical limitations may have their cases reviewed by the Medical Advisory Board, MAB, before the license is issued. 7. Surrender any valid out-of-state driver license. 8. U.S. citizenship status or lawful presence. For additional information and lists of acceptable documents, visit our website, www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/applyforlicense.htm. Driver record. A complete record of all your examinations will be recorded on your application and scanned into the driver license system where it becomes a part of your permanent driving record. Any convictions for moving traffic violations or crashes, including out-of-state records of convictions, will be recorded as part of your permanent driving record. To find out more information on driver records and how to obtain a copy of your record, visit http://www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/driverrecords.htm. Evidence of financial responsibility, vehicle insurance. When applying for an original driver license, you must provide evidence of financial responsibility or a statement that you do not own a motor vehicle that requires the maintenance of financial responsibility. Evidence of financial responsibility must meet at least the minimum amount required by Texas and cover each motor vehicle the applicant owns that requires maintenance of financial responsibility. Vehicle registration. When surrendering an out-of-state driver license, a new Texas resident must submit, with a driver license application, evidence that each motor vehicle owned by the person is currently registered in Texas, or indicate they do not own a motor vehicle required to be registered. A registration receipt issued by the county tax assessor collector of the county in which the new resident resides is satisfactory evidence that your motor vehicle has been registered in Texas. Fees. The required fees must be submitted before any exams will be given for an original Texas driver license. An additional $1 administrative fee is included in most transactions. However, if you are completing multiple transactions at the same time, either in person or online, you will only be charged the $1 administrative fee once. A $1 administrative fee is not charged for transactions made through the mail. For more information on all fees, refer to Appendix D of this handbook or visit our website, http://www.txdps.state.tx.us/driverlicense/fees.htm. Driver education. Individuals less than 25 years of age are required to successfully complete an approved driver education course. For more information on licensing requirements for applicants less than 25 years of age, visit our website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/applyforlicense.htm. Impact Texas Teen Drivers (ITTD). Beginning September 1, 2015. An applicant must complete the Impact Texas Teen Drivers, ITTD, program if he or she completes a teen driver education course, is issued a certificate of completion, DE 964, and takes the driving exam on or after that date. For more information visit the ITTD website, https://impacttexasdrivers.dps.texas.gov. Minors. If you are less than 18 years of age, your application must be signed, under oath, by the parent or guardian with custody. If there is not a guardian, your employer or county judge may sign the application. The person who signs may ask DPS to cancel your license anytime before your 18th birthday. This request must be in writing and sworn to before an officer authorized to administer oaths. In addition, the minor applicant and cosigner must acknowledge receipt of information that explains the zero-tolerance law. See Chapter 10, Alcohol and Drugs Impact on the Driving Ability for more information. Examinations. Before any exams are given, you must pay the required fee. Your picture will be taken and you will be given a payment receipt. If you do not pass the knowledge and driving exams on your first attempt, your application will be held for 90 days. After 90 days or 3 failed exams, a new application and fee will be required. The knowledge and driving exams are not required for applicants 18 years of age and older who surrender a valid out-of-state license. After you have passed all applicable exams, you will be issued a temporary license, which you may use for 45 days or until you receive your permanent license in the mail. If you do not receive your license in 45 days, contact our customer service center at 512-424-2600 or www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/customer_service/. Part 1. The Knowledge Exam. As part of the Less Tiers More Years Act, all applicants less than 25 years of age are required to take a driver education course to apply for a driver license. Upon successful completion of certain courses, the person is not required to take the Class C knowledge exam, also known as the written exam. There are 3 types of knowledge exams. 1. Class C, knowledge exam for all original applicants. 2. Class M, motorcycle road rules for motorcycle. This exam is also required for all moped license applicants. The exam for all other Class M applicants is waived if you successfully complete a motorcycle operator training course and present proof of completion. 3. Class A or Class B, rules exam for operators of Class A and Class B vehicles. You need a grade of 70% or better to pass any knowledge exam. Part 2. The vision examination. Your vision will be examined when you are at the driver license office. Depending on the results, you may be required to wear corrective lenses while driving if the lenses improve your vision and help increase the safety of your driving. If the results are inconclusive, you may be referred to your doctor. Part 3. The driving exam. The driving exam is given only after all other exams are passed and evidence of financial responsibility is presented or the vehicle is exempt under the Texas Motor Vehicle Safety Responsibility Act. The type of vehicle used for the driving exam must match the class of license on the application. No one less than 18 years of age is exempt from taking the driving exam. Individuals may take a driving exam at a driver license office or through a third-party skills testing (TPST) school. The TPST program started September 1, 2014. The program permits certain schools to administer the non-commercial driving exam. Individuals who take and pass the driving exam through an approved TPST school must present the sealed envelope prepared by the TPST school in order for the exam to be waived at the driver license office. Individuals who complete the DPS-approved motorcycle operator training course are not required to take a driving exam for a Class M license if the person already has a valid, unrestricted Texas license. Individuals less than 18 years of age must pass the motorcycle driving exam. Additionally, the driving exam is not required for anyone applying for a learner license. A $10 exam fee is required when changing from a lower to a higher class license or when removing restrictions from a license. The cost of adding a Class M to an existing license is $15. Description of the driving exam. During the driving exam, you will not be asked to do anything illegal. You must follow all of the instructions given by the Customer Service Representative (CSR). Do not carry on a conversation during the driving exam. If you are not eligible to drive in Texas, a licensed driver must drive the car to the driver license office and exam area. If you are not issued a driver license, then the licensed driver should also drive you away from the driver license office. Upon completion of the driving exam, the CSR will explain all driving errors and let you know how to correct those errors. Your application for a license will not be approved if you 1. Violate the law. 2. Refuse to follow instructions. 3. Drive dangerously or have a crash. 4. Have more than 30 points deducted on the driving exam. All drivers are graded on 4 basic skills, regardless of the type of driving exam. 1. Control, your ability to make your car do what you want it to do. 2. Observation, your ability to see what other traffic is doing and other things that may create problems in traffic. 3. Positioning, your ability to drive in your lane. 4. Signaling, your ability to use turn signals as required. You may be graded on your performance on the following skills, so it is good to practice before taking the driving exam. A. Parallel parking. You may use the backup camera on your vehicle for parallel parking. However, the use of an automated vehicle parking function will not be allowed. B. Quick stop. You may be asked to stop your car as quickly as possible at about 20 miles per hour without skidding your tires. C. Backing, your ability to back the car for a distance of about 60 feet at a slow rate of speed and as straight and smoothly as possible. Turn and look back at all times while backing, or you may use the backup camera and mirrors on your vehicle while backing. However, the use of an automated vehicle parking function will not be allowed. D. Stop signs. E. Traffic signals. F. Use of clutch. On standard transmissions, hold the clutch all the way down when starting the motor, shifting gears, when stopping, and once your speed drops below 10 miles per hour. Do not drive with your foot resting on the clutch. G. Intersection observance. Use the proper lane, slow down and look both ways before entering the intersection. H. Turns. I. Right of way. J. Following, passing, and proper lane observance. K. Posture. Keep hands on steering wheel, don't rest your elbow on the window. Pass or fail driving exam. If you do not pass the driving exam, you will need to schedule time for another driving exam. If you pass the driving exam, always carry your license with you when driving and upon request, show it to 1. Any peace officer, sheriff, constable, judge, justice of the peace, or state trooper. 2. Anyone with whom you are involved in a crash. Penalties for driving without a license. During a stop, a law enforcement officer will determine if you have a valid driver license as required. Table 7. Penalties for driving without a license. Conviction. First conviction penalty, a fine of up to $200. Conviction. Second conviction in 1 year penalty, a fine of $25 to $200. Conviction. Driving without a license, operating a vehicle without insurance at the time of the offense, and driver causes a crash resulting in serious bodily injury or death penalty, class a misdemeanor punishable by a fine up to $4,000 and/or confinement in jail for not more than 365 days. Restrictions placed on a license. A restriction may be placed on your license. This is not meant to interfere with your driving but to make you a better driver. Note, the complete list of the restriction codes has been omitted from the audio version of the handbook. Please refer to the printed version of the handbook. You can locate it on the official DMV website or on driving-tests.org. Removing or adding restrictions. Visit your local driver license office for more information concerning the removal or addition of any restrictions from your driver license or learner license. Replacement, duplicate, or change of a driver license or ID card. You should apply for a replacement license or ID card at your local driver license office if your license or ID card has been lost or destroyed, or for any change in information. Please bring the required application DL-43 and documents to verify your citizenship and identity. For more information on acceptable documents, visit our website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/. A change of name or address must be reported to DPS within 30 days. A license expiring in less than 12 months, or in less than 30 days for a provisional license, should be renewed, not duplicated. Fee, replacement or change of license, $10 for license plus $1 fee for transactions made in person or online equals $11. To change your name, you must apply in person at any driver license office and bring the required documents. For more information, visit our website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/. To change the address on your Texas driver license or ID card, you can visit any driver license office. You may also apply online at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/. You must have your card in your possession to apply online, by phone at 1-866-DL, renew or mail an application for change of address certificate DL64. If you do not have the required DL64, you can download one from our website at www.dps.texas.gov/internetforms/. Mailing address, Texas Department of Public Safety. License and Record Service P.O. Box 149,008. Austin, Texas, 78714-9008. Upon receipt of a $10 fee and proper notification, a new license or ID card with the correct address information, with your previous photograph or valid without photo, will be mailed to you. Out-of-state licensees. If you are out of state but maintaining a Texas driver license, you may apply for a duplicate license by mail. Download the out-of-state packet DL16P or out-of-country application DL16 from the website http://www.dps.texas.gov/internetforms/. Complete and submit the required application with a $10 fee to. Mailing address, Texas Department of Public Safety. License and Record Service P.O. Box 149,008. Austin, Texas, 78714-9008. Note, some driver licenses are not eligible for online, phone or mail-in transactions. These include CDLs, limited term, sex offender and licenses issued to persons 79 years of age and older. Renewing a license. A renewal notice invitation may be mailed to the last address you provided to DPS about 6 weeks before your license expires. If you do not receive this courtesy notice, it is your responsibility to renew your license. Application for renewal. A Texas driver license must be renewed every 6 years. A renewal application must be made in person at any driver license office unless you are eligible to renew online at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/ by mail, or by phone at 1-866-DL, renew. To check your eligibility to renew, visit us online or call the number provided. A person must appear in a driver license office at least once every 12 years for a vision exam and to update the photo, signature and fingerprints. Some of our larger office locations offer the ability to get in line online. Please check the website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/ to find out if this service is available at a location near you. Alternate methods to renew will not be extended to 1. Any person whose license is suspended, canceled, revoked, or denied. 2. Commercial driver license (CDL) holders. 3. Holders of an occupational license, provisional license, or learner license. 4. Licensees restricted because of driving ability or a medical condition that requires periodic reviews, including any medical or physical condition which may result in progressive changes to a licensee's ability to safely drive a motor vehicle. 5. Driver license or ID card holders who are subject to sex offender. 6. Driver license holders who are 79 years of age or older. 7. Driver license holders who do not have a social security number or photo on file. 8. Non-U.S. citizens, due to a verification process. When you are at the driver license office, you will be asked questions concerning your medical history. If you have certain medical limitations, your case may be referred to the Medical Advisory Board (MAB) for their opinion about how your condition may affect your driving. For more information on MAB, visit our website at http://www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/medicalrevocation.htm. Individuals returning to Texas from military service. Within 90 days of being honorably discharged, military personnel returning from duty must present a Texas driver license and separation papers to obtain a renewal license without taking the knowledge and driving exams when the license has been expired for over 2 years. Out-of-state Texas licensees. Eligible individuals who do not currently reside in Texas but whose true, permanent home is in Texas may mail in their application for renewal. Download the out-of-state packet, DL16P, or out-of-country application, DL16, from the website http://www.dps.texas.gov/internetforms. The following individuals who are out of state are not eligible to renew by mail and must renew in person. 1. A person subject to sex offender registration requirements. 2. A person 79 years of age or older. 3. A person holding a commercial driver license, CDL. 4. A person who is not a U.S. citizen. The proper fee and the results of your vision exam, performed by an eye specialist or an authorized driver license employee, must be included with your application. The license will be renewed and will be valid to expiration date shown or until 45 days after return to Texas, whichever comes first. Make check or money order made payable to TXDPS. Do not send cash. Mail to. Mailing address: Texas Department of Public Safety. Central Cash Receiving P.O. Box 15999. Austin, Texas 78761-5999. Suspensions and revocations. Operating a motor vehicle is a privilege. If this privilege is abused, it may result in a driver license suspension or revocation. Mandatory suspensions, revocations, and convictions for certain offenses involving fraudulent government records require an additional $100 reinstatement fee. Administrative license revocations, ALR, require an additional $125 reinstatement fee. Some mandatory suspensions also require filing a financial responsibility insurance certificate, SR-22. Mandatory suspension. Convictions for the following offenses will result in the automatic suspension of your license and driving privilege. For minors, see the Suspensions and Revocations under 21 section in this chapter. 1. Driving while intoxicated, DWI, by use of alcohol or drugs. 2. Drug offense. 3. Intoxication manslaughter or intoxication assault. 4. Failure to stop and render aid. 5. Causing the death or serious injury of anyone while operating a motor vehicle, involuntary manslaughter. 6. Any offense punishable as a felony under the motor vehicle laws of Texas. 7. Overtaking and passing a school bus, subsequent conviction. 8. Boating while intoxicated. 9. Evading arrest. 10. Driving while license invalid. 11. Altered, unlawful use of a driver license. 12. Displaying or possessing a fictitious or altered driver license or ID card. 13. Lending a driver license or ID card to someone. 14. Possessing more than one valid driver license or ID card. 15. Providing false information or documents when applying for a driver license. 16. Making, selling, or possessing a document deceptively similar to a driver license or ID card issued by DPS. 17. Graffiti. 18. Fictitious license plate, registration certificate, or safety inspection sticker. 19. Fraudulent government records. 20. Racing a motor vehicle on a public highway or street. Administrative suspensions and revocations. DPS has the authority to suspend or revoke a driver license or privilege of any driver, after an opportunity for a proper hearing, for any of the reasons listed below. A reinstatement fee is required for all discretionary suspensions and revocations. 1. Driving while license invalid. 2. Causing a serious crash while driving a motor vehicle. 3. Becoming incompetent to drive. 4. Repeated violations of traffic laws, including 4 or more traffic convictions occurring separately within any 12-month period or 7 or more traffic convictions within any 24-month period. 5. Failure to complete a drug education program is required upon conviction of a drug offense. 6. Failure to provide medical information when requested. 7. Failure to take or pass a test when requested. 8. Fleeing or attempting to flee from a law enforcement officer. 9. Person has committed an offense in another state, which if committed in this state would be grounds for suspension or revocation. 10. Fail to stop for a school bus, second conviction. 11. Violates a probation order set by a previous hearing. Suspensions and revocations, under 21. Convictions or failure to comply with the following offenses will result in automatic suspension of the driving privilege of individuals who are less than 21 years of age. See Administrative License Revocation, ALR, section for more suspension information regarding minors. Alcoholic Beverage Code offenses. 1. Minor in possession. 2. Attempt to purchase alcohol by a minor. 3. Purchase of alcohol by a minor. 4. Consumption of alcohol by a minor. 1. Misrepresentation of age by a minor. 2. Driving or operating a watercraft under the influence of alcohol by a minor. 3. Failure to complete an alcohol awareness class. Health and Safety Code violations. 1. Failure to complete a tobacco awareness class when required. 2. Drug offense. 3. An offense under the Controlled Substance Act. 4. A felony under Chapter 481 that is not a drug offense. Family Code violations. 5. Delinquent conduct by a minor or juvenile. 6. Truancy. Suspend or revoke after hearing of minor. DPS has the authority to suspend or revoke the license or driving privilege of a minor after a proper hearing, for 1. A juvenile court order. 2. Failure to pay a fine or juvenile contempt, and 3. 2 or more traffic convictions occurring separately within any 12-month period for a driver who is less than 18 years of age. Administrative License Revocation, ALR. The Administrative License Revocation, ALR, law provides an administrative penalty for driving while intoxicated. A $125 reinstatement fee is required for all ALR suspensions. DPS is authorized to suspend a license or driving privilege. 1. For individuals who are over 21 years of age who fail a breath or blood test. The blood alcohol content indicates a level of 0.08 or more. 2. Of any person who refuses to submit to a breath or blood test, or 3. For individuals who are under 21 years of age for any detectable amount of alcohol. Cancellations. DPS is authorized to cancel the driver license or ID card of individuals who do not meet certain qualifications. The following types of cases require cancellation of a driver license or ID card. 1. Suspension and revocation action from another state. 2. Parental authorization withdrawn, for individuals who are under 18 years of age. 3. Failure to give the required information on the application for the license or ID card. 4. Person is not entitled to the license or ID card. 5. Incomplete driver education. 6. Voluntary surrender for medical or insurance purposes. 7. False statement on an application for a license or ID card. Court-ordered suspensions, revocations, and cancellations. Upon receipt of a court order, DPS will suspend, revoke, or cancel a license or driving privilege for 1. Delinquent child support. 2. Requirement for an ignition interlock device. See www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/ignitioninterlock.htm for more information. 3. Failure to repay any overpayment of food stamps or financial assistance. 4. Mentally incapacitated. 5. Chemically dependent. 6. Failure to renew their license annually as required, classified sex offender. Denials. DPS is authorized to deny the issuance of a driver license to a person who is ineligible to receive a license in this state. An applicant may be denied a driver license for 1. Suspension, revocation, cancellation, disqualification status in Texas, another state, or Canadian province. 2. Physical or mental incapacity preventing the safe operation of a motor vehicle. 3. Acquiring motor vehicle fuel without payment. 4. Certain criminal mischief, for example, graffiti, etc. 5. Purchasing or furnishing alcohol to a minor. 6. Delinquent child support. 7. Failure to pay reinstatement fees. 8. Failure to appear or failure to pay for certain violations. 9. Drug offense. Driving while license invalid, DWLI. Individuals who drive a motor vehicle while their driver license is suspended, revoked, denied, or cancelled are subject to suspensions and criminal penalties. The penalties for driving a motor vehicle while your license is invalid are listed below. Table 9. Penalties for driving while license invalid, DWLI. Offense: driving a motor vehicle while driver license or privilege is suspended, cancelled, denied, or revoked. Penalty: Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of up to $500. Offense: the person has a previous conviction for the same offense, was operating a vehicle without insurance at the time of the offense, or the person's license had been suspended because of an offense involving operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Penalty: Class B misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of up to $2,000 and/or confinement in jail for not more than 180 days. Offense: the person was operating a vehicle without insurance at the time of the offense and caused a crash which resulted in serious bodily injury or death of another. The suspend scion will automatically be extended. Penalty: Class A misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of up to $4,000 and/or confinement in jail for not more than 365 days. Penalties for non-driving alcohol-related offenses by minors. The zero-tolerance law provides penalties for minors who commit non-driving alcohol-related offenses. A minor may not purchase, attempt to purchase, falsely state he/she is 21 years of age or older, or present a document indicating he/she is 21 years of age or older to a person engaged in selling or serving alcoholic beverages. A minor may not consume, or possess an alcoholic beverage. The penalties for non-driving alcohol-related offenses for minors are listed below. Table 10. Penalties for non-driving alcohol-related offenses, minors. Offense: first offense. Penalty: Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of up to $500, 8 to 12 hours of community service, and mandatory alcohol awareness course attendance. The driver license will be suspended, or privilege will be denied if not licensed, for 30 days. Offense: second offense. Penalty: Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine up to $500, 20 to 40 hours of community service, and the minor may be required to attend an alcohol awareness course. The driver license will be suspended, or privilege will be denied if not licensed, for 60 days. Offense: third offense. At least 17 years of age but less than 21. Penalty: Class B misdemeanor, punishable by a fine of $250 to $2,000. Minor may also be required to attend an alcohol awareness course. The driver license will be suspended, or privilege will be denied if not licensed, for 180 days. Minors are not eligible for deferred disposition on the third conviction or any subsequent conviction. Offense: third offense. Under 17 years of age. Penalty: Class C misdemeanor, punishable by a fine up to $500, 20 to 40 hours of community service, and the minor may be required to attend an alcohol awareness course. The driver license will be suspended, or privilege will be denied if not licensed, for 60 days, or the case can be transferred to juvenile court as delinquent conduct. A minor who is convicted of driving while his/her license is suspended because of a non-driving alcohol-related offense is subject to the penalties of driving while license invalid, DWLI. Other non-driving penalties for alcohol-related offenses. The person who purchases, furnishes, or sells an alcoholic beverage to a minor is subject to the penalties listed in the table below. Table 11. Penalties for purchasing, furnishing, or selling alcohol to a minor. Offense: purchased or furnished alcohol to a minor. Penalty: a fine of up to $4,000 and/or confinement in jail for up to 1 year. Offense: sold alcohol to a minor. Penalty: a fine of up to $4,000 and/or confinement in jail for up to 1 year. Occupational license, essential need license. An occupational license, also called an essential need license, is a special type of restricted license issued to individuals. 1. Whose driver license has been cancelled, suspended, revoked, or denied for certain offenses, other than medical or delinquent child support, and 2. Who can prove to a court there is an essential need to drive. Individuals may still qualify for an occupational license even if their driver license has been suspended for surcharges. Application for an occupational license is made to the district, county, or justice of the peace court in the precinct or county of the licensee's residence or to the court of original jurisdiction, whichever is applicable. If the court determines an individual is eligible for an occupational license, then a court order will be issued. The court order authorizes DPS to issue the occupational license. The applicant must submit the court order and all required items to DPS before an occupational license can be issued. The fee for this type of license is $10 per year. The court order may be used for 45 days for driving purposes while the occupational license is being processed. After 45 days, you must have both the court order and the occupational license in your possession. A person issued an occupational license must also carry a certified copy of the court order when operating a vehicle and must allow a law enforcement officer to examine the order at the officer's lawful request. An occupational license may not be issued to drive a commercial motor vehicle. For more information on occupational licenses, visit our website at http://www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/occupationallicense.htm. Driver Responsibility Program (DRP). The Driver Responsibility Program (DRP) establishes a system that authorizes the Texas Department of Public Safety (DPS) to assess surcharges to an individual based on certain traffic offenses. A surcharge is an administrative fee based on convictions reported to the driver record. A surcharge is in addition to other types of fees and does not replace a suspension, revocation, disqualification, denial, or cancellation action resulting from the same conviction. To check your driver eligibility, visit https://texapps.texas.gov/texapps/txdps/deleligibility/login.do. Two criteria are used to determine if a surcharge will be assessed: point system and conviction-based. Individuals who have both points and convictions reported to their driver record will receive separate surcharges for each offense, a surcharge for the points and a surcharge for the conviction. Point system. Points are assessed for traffic convictions. Once the conviction has been reported to the driver record, points are assigned and remain on your driver record for 3 years. A person will receive 2 points for a Texas or out-of-state traffic conviction, 3 points for a Texas or out-of-state traffic conviction that resulted in a crash. A surcharge is assessed when the driver has 6 or more points on his/her driver record within 3 years. The driver is required to pay an additional $100 surcharge for the first 6 points and $25 for every point after 6. The surcharge is assessed every year the driver maintains 6 or more points. Conviction-based. A driver convicted of one of the offenses listed in the conviction-based surcharges (DRP) table is assessed a surcharge every year for 3 years. Points are not assessed for these offenses because the surcharge is automatic upon conviction. Table 12. Conviction-based surcharges (DRP). Type of conviction: driving while intoxicated (DWI), first offense, surcharge $1,000. Type of conviction: DWI, second and subsequent offenses, surcharge $1,500. Type of conviction: DWI with blood alcohol concentration of 0.16 or greater, surcharge $2,000. Type of conviction: no insurance, surcharge up to $250. Type of conviction: driving while license is invalid DWLI, license is cancelled, suspended, or revoked, surcharge $250. Type of conviction: no driver license, no license, expired license, or no CDL, surcharge up to $100. DPS contracts with a vendor. DPS contracts with an outside vendor, Municipal Services Bureau, MSB, to collect surcharges. This vendor is legally authorized to charge the following service fees in addition to the surcharge. 1. A service fee of 4% of the original surcharge amount. 2. An installment plan payment fee of $2.50 per partial payment. 3. A credit or debit card fee of 2.25% of the payment plus 25 cents except where prohibited by law, and 4. An electronic check fee of $2 per payment. Driver record review. DPS reviews surcharge cases annually. The number of points on a record can vary each year based on convictions that are added or removed. Please be aware there is a lapse in time from the date you are convicted for an offense and the date your conviction is reported to DPS by the courts. As a result, points may be added to or deducted from your record for offenses committed in the previous 12-month period. For more information regarding driver record review, please visit http://www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/drp.htm. Driver notification. A letter will be mailed to you notifying you of the surcharges you have been assessed. Letters are mailed to the address DPS has on record or to your most recent forwarding address, if it is different. So it's important to notify DPS of any changes to your information. To change your address online, visit our website at http://www.txdps.state.tx.us/driverlicense/. Payment of surcharges. Surcharges must be paid within 105 days or an individual's driver license will be suspended for failure to comply with the surcharge requirements. Individuals can pay all 3 years in advance or enter into an installment payment. For more information regarding payment options, please visit http://www.txdps.state.tx.us/driverlicense/drp.htm. The individual's driving privileges will remain suspended until an installment agreement is established or all surcharges and related costs are paid in full. Payments can be made online at https://www.txsurchargeonline.com/ or by calling 800-688-6882. Individuals may also mail a personal check, money order, or cashier's check to the address below. Do not send cash. Individuals must write their name, driver license number and reference number on their payment so their record can be properly identified. Make check or money order payment to MSB and allow 3 days for processing. Mailing address. Surcharge processing. P.O. Box 16733. Austin, Texas, 78761-6733. Indigency and incentive programs. The indigency program reduces the amount of surcharges owed for some individuals who have incomes at or below 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. The incentive program reduces the amount of surcharges owed for some individuals who have incomes above 125% and below 300% of the federal poverty guidelines. A summary of additional features and requirements of this program are: 1. All surcharges assessed are eligible for a reduction. 2. Under the indigency program, the surcharge amount owed is waived. 3. Under the incentive program, the surcharge amount owed is reduced to 50%. 4. Customers are still required to pay the full amount of all other applicable fees. 5. Once approved for a reduction under the incentive program, the individual must pay the reduced balance in full within 6 months. All surcharge suspensions will be lifted during this period. If the individual does not pay the balance in full by the due date, their driving privileges will be suspended until the reduced balance is paid in full. To learn more about program eligibility requirements, poverty guidelines, or the application process, visit our website at www.dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/drp.htm or call 866-223-3583. Chapter 2. Vehicle Inspection and Registration. Vehicle inspection. All motor vehicles registered in Texas must be inspected each year at an official motor vehicle inspection station. This includes motorcycles, mopeds, scooters, and autocycles. Evidence of financial responsibility for the vehicle being inspected must be presented at the time of the inspection. The Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, and the Texas Department of Public Safety, DPS, transitioned to a new vehicle inspection and registration system requiring motorists to display only the valid registration sticker on the windshield. The sticker serves as combined proof of registration and inspection. When a vehicle passes inspection, the inspection station will print the Passing Vehicle Inspection Report, VIR, and enter the information into an electronic database. The DMV verifies the database information at the time your vehicle is registered. You should still be prepared to present the printed VIR when registering your vehicle. The VIR is only valid for 90 days from the month of inspection for registration purposes. Required equipment for vehicles. You must have the following equipment in proper working order for your car to be considered safe. Table 13. Required equipment for motor vehicles. Note: this table has been omitted from the audio version of the handbook. Please refer to the printed version of the handbook. You can locate it on the official DMV website or on driving-tests.org. For information on commercial vehicles, please see the Special Requirements section in the Texas Commercial Motor Vehicle Driver Handbook. For information on motorcycles, see the Motorcycle Operator's Manual. Equipment you must not have. The following equipment is considered unsafe and is not allowed on your vehicle. 1. A red light showing from the front except on an emergency vehicle. 2. A bell, siren, or exhaust whistle except on an emergency vehicle. 3. A muffler cutout. 4. Anything extending more than 3 inches beyond the left side or 6 inches beyond the right side of the body, running board, or fenders of your car. 5. Flashing red lights on the front except on emergency vehicles, school buses, and church buses. 6. A radar interference device designed, manufactured, used, or intended to be used to interfere with, scramble, disrupt, or cause to malfunction a radar or laser device used to measure a vehicle's speed. Minimum road clearance. The vehicle must not be modified or weighted in such a manner where the body is below the lowest part of the rims of the wheels. Optional equipment for vehicles. The following equipment is considered optional and is not required to be on your vehicle. Table 14. Optional equipment for motor vehicles. Note: this table has been omitted from the audio version of the handbook. Please refer to the printed version of the handbook. You can locate it on the official DMV website or on driving-tests.org. Registration of vehicles. All vehicles must be registered in the owner's county of residency. Once the vehicle is properly registered, a registration sticker will be issued that must be displayed on the vehicle's windshield or on the rear license plate of a motorcycle or moped. 1. An owner must register a newly purchased vehicle within 30 days of purchase. 2. Non-resident truck owners may be issued 30-day temporary registration permits for certain movements of farm products and machinery during harvesting season. 3. Under certain conditions, temporary registration permits and reduced registration rates for special vehicles may be obtained. 4. Buyers' temporary tags are recognized for 60 days. Dealers' metal registration plates may be used on any dealer-owned vehicle except for commercial purposes. Vehicle inspection is required. 5. A manufacturer's metal registration plate may be used for vehicle testing purposes only. A vehicle inspection is required. Dealers' temporary cardboard tags may be used for demonstrating a vehicle for sale, or for transporting or servicing vehicles without a motor vehicle inspection. These vehicles may not be used for driver license driving exams. 6. Farm-registered vehicles, in addition to use for farm and ranch purposes, may be used as a means of passenger transportation for members of the family to attend church or school, to visit doctors for medical treatment or supplies, or for other necessities of the home or family. Farm-registered vehicles may not be used for gainful employment. 7. For registration applications and detailed information, consult your county tax assessor collector or the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV. Vehicles not required to be registered or inspected. The following vehicles are not required to be registered, inspected, or to display a license plate when temporarily operated on highways. 1. Farm tractors. 2. Farm trailers, farm semi-trailers, and certain fertilizer and cottonseed trailers with a gross weight of 4,000 pounds or less. 3. Implements of agriculture. 4. Power sweepers. 5. Certain golf carts. 6. Electric bicycles. 7. Motorized and electric personal assistive mobility devices. When temporarily operated on highways, the following vehicles are not required to be registered or inspected if the owner annually secures a distinguishing $5 license plate and complies with other special conditions in the law. 1. Machinery for drilling water wells and construction machinery. 2. Farm trailers, farm semi-trailers, cotton trailers, cottonseed trailers, and certain fertilizer trailers weighing over 4,000 pounds but less than 34,000 pounds gross. Vehicle registration for new and non-residents of Texas. A new Texas resident must register every vehicle she owns before applying for a Texas driver license. When a non-resident establishes residency in Texas or enters into gainful employment, her vehicle may be operated for 30 days. After 30 days, the vehicle must be registered in Texas. New residents registering a vehicle must obtain a Texas Vehicle Inspection Report and verification of the Vehicle Identification Number, VIN, by a state-approved vehicle inspection station prior to registration. The vehicle owner will then be provided the necessary form for processing the vehicle registration. Evidence of financial responsibility for the vehicle being registered must be presented at the time of registration. If evidence of financial responsibility is not presented, the vehicle cannot be registered. The registration receipt issued by the county tax assessor collector for each vehicle will be acceptable proof of the registration when applying for a Texas driver license.
Chapter 3. Safety Responsibility.
The Liability Insurance Law.
The Texas Motor Vehicle Safety Responsibility Act was enacted to ensure all drivers are financially responsible for the death, injury, or property damage they may cause while operating a motor vehicle. All owners and/or operators of motor vehicles in Texas must have at least the minimum amount of liability insurance.
As of January 1, 2011, the minimum amount of liability insurance is $30,000 against injury or death of one person. $60,000 against injury or death of two or more individuals. $25,000 against property damage. To comply with the Texas Motor Vehicle Safety Responsibility Act, a driver, unless exempt, must maintain liability insurance or be self-insured under the provisions of the Act. Evidence of financial responsibility must be presented at the time a person applies for a driver license, registers a motor vehicle, or obtains a motor vehicle inspection report. Every owner or operator of a motor vehicle in Texas is required to furnish evidence of financial responsibility to a law enforcement officer upon request or to another person involved in a crash.
Evidence of financial responsibility.
The following list includes items that will be accepted as evidence of financial responsibility.
1. A liability insurance policy in at least the minimum amounts. 2. A standard proof of liability insurance form prescribed by the Texas Department of Insurance and issued by a liability insurer that includes the
name of the insurer, insurance policy number, and policy period.
Name and address of each insured. Policy limits or a statement the coverage of the policy complies with at least the minimum amounts of liability insurance required by this Act, and
the make and model of each covered vehicle. 3. An insurance binder indicating the owner and/or operator is in compliance. 4. A certificate issued by the state controller showing the owner of the vehicle has on deposit with the controller, money or securities for at least $55,000. 5. A surety bond issued by DPS showing the vehicle has a bond on file with DPS. 6. A certificate or copy of a certificate issued by the county judge of a county in which the vehicle is registered that shows the owner of the vehicle has on deposit with the county judge, cash or a cashier's check for at least $55,000.
7. A certificate or copy of a certificate of self-insurance, issued by DPS, which shows the person has more than 25 vehicles registered in his/her name.
8. An image displayed on a wireless communication device that includes the information required in a standard insurance form. This option is not acceptable for driver license issuance or examinations. Failure to provide evidence of financial responsibility. If an individual fails to provide evidence of financial responsibility when required, she may receive a citation. The court may dismiss the charge if the individual provides evidence that a liability insurance policy was in effect when the citation was issued.
Upon conviction of driving a motor vehicle without sufficient evidence of financial responsibility as required, a driver is subject to penalties. Table 15. Penalties for driving without evidence of financial responsibility.
Conviction. First conviction penalty, a fine of $175 to $350.
Conviction, second conviction and each subsequent conviction. Penalty, suspension of driver license and motor vehicle registration, a fine of $350 to $1,000, and court impoundment of the motor vehicle driven or operated by the person at the time of the offense provided the defendant was an owner of the vehicle at the time of the offense and is an owner of the vehicle on the date of conviction. The vehicle shall be impounded for 180 days. Before the court orders the release of the vehicle, evidence of financial responsibility must be presented to the court.
The vehicle registration, license or driving privilege of a driver will be suspended. 1. Upon conviction of a traffic violation providing for a suspension of a driver license, unless evidence of insurance is presented to DPS. 2. If a judgment resulting from a crash has not been satisfied within 60 days of the judgment. 3. If an installment agreement arising out of a settlement of a crash is in default. 4. If, while uninsured, the individual was involved in a crash in which another person was killed, injured, or there was at least $1,000 damage to a person's property and there exists a reasonable probability of a judgment being rendered against the driver, and 5. When required to maintain evidence of financial responsibility for 2 years from the most recent conviction date. More specific information about compliance with the Texas Motor Vehicle Safety Responsibility Act may be found online at http://dps.texas.gov/driverlicense/SR22insurancecertificate.htm. You may also visit any driver license office or write to. Mailing address: Texas Department of Public Safety, Enforcement and Compliance Service, P.O. Box 4087, Austin, Texas 787730320.
Chapter 4. Right-of-way.
At times, a driver must yield to others. There are certain rules to help determine who has the right-of-way. However, if the other driver doesn't follow these rules, give him, her the right-of-way. Remember, in every situation, right-of-way is something given, not taken. All drivers should know and understand the laws that determine who has the right-of-way.
Table 16. Penalties for failure to yield right-of-way. Offense. Driver commits any traffic offense of which failure to yield the right-of-way to another vehicle is an element and causes bodily injury to another. Penalty. A fine of $500 to $2,000. Offense. Driver causes serious bodily injury to another. Penalty. A fine of $1,000 to $4,000. Right-of-way at intersections. Intersections controlled by signs and signals. When signs and signals control traffic at an intersection, you must obey them. Know the meaning of each sign and signal. See Chapter 5 for more information. Single or two-lane road intersecting a multi-lane road. If you are driving on a single or two-lane road that intersects with a divided road or road with three or more lanes, you must yield the right-of-way to vehicles traveling on the divided or three or more lane road. Unpaved road intersecting a paved road. If you are driving on an unpaved road that intersects with a paved road, you must yield the right-of-way to vehicles traveling on the paved road. Intersections not controlled by signs, signals, multi-lanes, or pavement. When approaching this type of intersection, yield the right-of-way to any vehicle that has entered or is approaching the intersection and your right. If the road to your right is clear or if approaching vehicles are far enough from the intersection to make your crossing safe, you may proceed. Since there are not any traffic controls at this intersection, make sure there are no approaching vehicles from the left. You may legally have the right-of-way, but be sure the other driver yields to you before you proceed. Turning left. When turning left, always yield the right-of-way to any vehicle coming straight through from the other direction. Private roads and driveways. When entering or crossing a road, street, or highway from a private road, alley, building, or driveway, you must stop prior to the sidewalk and yield the right-of-way to all approaching vehicles and pedestrians. T-intersection. When approaching an intersection of a through street traveling from a street that ends at the intersection, you must stop and yield the right-of-way to vehicles on the through street. Enter or leave controlled access highway. The driver traveling on a frontage road of a controlled access highway must yield the right-of-way to a vehicle entering or about to enter the frontage road from the highway, and leaving or about to leave the frontage road to enter the highway. Driving on multiple lane roads.
On a road divided into 3 or more lanes with traffic moving in the same direction, a vehicle entering a lane of traffic from the right must yield the right-of-way to a vehicle entering the same lane of traffic from the left. Railroad grade crossings.
When approaching a railroad grade crossing, stop between 15 and 50 feet from the nearest rail if
1. A clearly visible railroad signal warns of an approaching train. 2. A crossing gate is lowered or a flagperson warns of an approaching train. 3. A driver is required to stop by an official traffic control device or a traffic control signal. 4. An approaching train is within about 1,500 feet of the crossing. The train will produce an audible signal to identify the immediate hazard.
5. An approaching train is visible and in close proximity to the crossing.
You are required to stop at a railroad grade crossing and remain stopped until allowed to proceed or it is safe to proceed. A person who fails to obey the law regarding railroad grade crossings is subject to a fine of $50 to $200. Additional safe driving procedures at railroad crossings. 1. If a railroad crossing is marked only with a crossbuck sign or reduced speed sign, then look both ways, and listen for a whistle. If a train is approaching, stop. If a train is not approaching, proceed with caution. 2. If red lights are flashing at a railroad crossing, stop. If a train is approaching, remain stopped until the train passes and the lights stop flashing. 3. If the railroad crossing gates have been lowered, stop. Remain stopped and wait until the train passes and the gates are raised before crossing. 4. Be sure the tracks are clear before you proceed to cross. There may be 2 or more sets of tracks. One train could be blocking the view of another. 5. Never stop on the tracks. If your car stalls on the tracks and you cannot restart it, get out and try to push the car off the tracks. If you cannot push the car off the tracks, get help. If a train is approaching and your vehicle is stalled, get out quickly and move away from the tracks. Run toward the approaching train to the side of the tracks and avoid flying debris. 6. Remember, trains do not and cannot stop at crossings. Trains always have the right of way. 7. Audible signs or whistles may be difficult to hear when approaching railroad crossings. Roll your windows down, turn your radio down, and listen carefully. If you encounter a railroad grade crossing signal problem, call the Texas Department of Public Safety Communication Center at 800-772-7677 or call your local police department or county sheriff's office. Each railroad crossing signal has an identifying number. Please note the number and be ready to provide it when reporting a problem. Yield right-of-way to emergency vehicles. You must yield the right-of-way to police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, and other emergency vehicles sounding a siren, bell, or flashing red light. If traffic allows, pull to the right edge of the road and stop. If you are unable to pull over to the right, slow down and leave a clear path for the emergency vehicle. 1. You are not allowed to follow within 500 feet of a fire truck answering an alarm or an ambulance when the flashing red lights are on. 2. Do not drive or park on the street where the fire truck has answered an alarm. 3. Do not park in a location that interferes with the arrival or departure of an ambulance to or from the scene of an emergency. Unless otherwise directed by a law enforcement officer, drivers who approach a stopped emergency vehicle with its lights activated must 1. Vacate the lane closest to the emergency vehicle if the highway has 2 or more lanes traveling in the direction of the emergency vehicle. 2. Slow to a speed not more than 20 miles per hour less than the posted speed limit when the posted speed limit is 25 miles per hour or more, or 3. Slow to a speed less than 5 miles per hour when the posted speed limit is less than 25 miles per hour. Yield right-of-way to school buses. You must yield the right-of-way to school buses. Always drive with care when you are near a school bus. If you approach a school bus from either direction and the bus is displaying alternately flashing red lights, you must stop. Do not pass the school bus until 1. The school bus has resumed motion. 2. You are signaled by the driver to proceed, or 3. The red lights are no longer flashing. It is not necessary to stop when passing a school bus on a different road or when on a controlled access highway where the bus is stopped in a loading zone and pedestrians aren't permitted to cross. A person who fails to obey the law regarding yielding the right-of-way to school buses displaying alternating, flashing lights is subject to the penalties listed in Table 17. Table 17. Penalties for failure to yield right-of-way to school bus. Conviction. First conviction penalty, a fine of $500 to $1,250. Conviction. Second conviction and every conviction after, within 5 years, penalty, a fine not less than $1,000 or more than $2,000, possible suspension of driver license for up to 6 months. Conviction. Person causes serious bodily injury to another when passing a stopped school bus. Penalty. Class a misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $4,000 and or up to 1 year in jail. Conviction. Person causes serious bodily injury to another and has previously been convicted of passing a school bus and causing serious bodily injury. Penalty. State jail felony punishable by 180 days to 2 years confinement and a possible fine of up to $10,000. Yield the right-of-way to pedestrians, persons on foot. Avoid turning a car into a deadly weapon.
You should always be on the lookout for individuals who are on foot pedestrians, whether they have the right-of-way or not. Drivers must give the right-of-way to pedestrians.
1. At an uncontrolled intersection, there are not any traffic signs or signals for the pedestrian to enter the crosswalk.
2. If the pedestrian has a walk signal or
if there is not a pedestrian control signal, give the pedestrian the right-of-way on a green light.
If the light changes after the pedestrian has entered the crosswalk, still give the pedestrian the right-of-way. Yield here to pedestrian signs. The yield here to pedestrians sign is used when yield lines are used in advance of a marked crosswalk that crosses an uncontrolled multi-lane roadway. In-street and overhead pedestrian crossing signs. The in-street pedestrian crossing signs or the overhead pedestrian crossing signs may be used to remind road users of laws regarding right-of-way at a pedestrian crosswalk without signals. The in-street pedestrian crossing signs are placed in the road at the crosswalk location on the center line, on a lane line, or on a median island. The in-street pedestrian crossing signs will not be posted on the left or right-hand side of the road.
The overhead pedestrian crossing signs are placed over the roadway at the crosswalk.
Pedestrian hybrid beacons.
A pedestrian hybrid beacon is a special type of pedestrian-activated warning device used with signs and pavement markings to warn and control traffic at locations where pedestrians enter or cross a street or highway. Pedestrian hybrid beacons are only installed at a marked crosswalk.
In-roadway lights.
In-roadway lights are special types of lights installed in the roadway surface to warn roadway users they are approaching a condition on or near the road they may not see, which might require them to slow down or come to a complete stop. In-roadway lights are used as an alternative to traffic lights where pedestrian safety is a concern, and are typically placed at mid-block crossings, school crosswalks, marked crosswalks on uncontrolled approaches, or in advance of roundabouts. Chapter 5: Signals, Signs, and Markers. Traffic signals. Traffic signals help provide for the orderly movement of traffic. Drivers must obey these signals, except when a law enforcement officer is directing traffic. You must obey a law enforcement officer at all times when they are directing traffic, even if she is telling you to do something which is ordinarily considered against the law. Steady red light, stop. Stop before entering the crosswalk or intersection. You may turn right unless prohibited by law. You may also turn left if both streets are one way, unless prohibited by law. You must yield to all pedestrians and other traffic lawfully using the intersection. A flashing red light. Stop completely before entering the crosswalk or intersection, then proceed when you can do so safely. Vehicles on the intersecting road may not have to stop. Steady yellow light, caution. A steady yellow light warns drivers to use caution and to alert them the light is about to change to red. You must stop before entering the nearest crosswalk at the intersection if you can do so safely. If a stop cannot be made safely, then you may proceed cautiously through the intersection before the light changes to red. A flashing yellow light. A flashing yellow light warns drivers to slow down and proceed with caution. A flashing yellow arrow for left turns. A flashing yellow arrow allows a driver to turn left, but the driver must yield the right-of-way to oncoming traffic. Steady green light, go. A steady green light means the driver can proceed on a green light if it is safe to do so. You may drive straight ahead or turn unless prohibited by another sign or signal. Watch for cars and pedestrians in the intersection. Be aware of reckless drivers who may race across the intersection to beat a red light. Green arrow displayed at the same time as a red light. A green arrow displayed at the same time as a red light means the driver can proceed carefully in the direction of the arrow after yielding the right of way to other vehicles and pedestrians. Left turn on green. You can turn left on a green light, however, you must yield the right of way to all traffic that is approaching from the opposite direction before turning. Traffic signs. Traffic signs can help you to be a better driver because they 1. Warn of hazards ahead that are difficult to see. 2. Guide drivers to their destination by identifying the route. 3. Inform of local regulations and practices. 4. Regulate the speed and movement of traffic. Below are the colors commonly used on road signs and explains what each color means. Red, stop, yield, or do what is posted on the sign. Green, indicated movements permitted, direction guidance. Blue, motorist services guidance. Yellow, general warning or caution. Black, regulation. White, regulation. Orange, construction and maintenance warning. Orange, retroreflective, used on various types of signs. Brown, public recreation and scenic guidance. Knowing the shapes of these signs will help you know what to do when you are approaching from a distance. Octagon, exclusively for stop signs. Horizontal rectangle, generally for guide signs. Equilateral triangle, exclusively for yield signs. Pennant, advance warning of no pass zones. Diamond, exclusively to warn of existing or possible hazards on roads or adjacent areas. Vertical rectangle, generally for regulatory signs. Pentagon, school advance and school crossing signs. Round, railroad advance warning signs. Warning signs. Warning signs alert drivers to conditions that are immediately ahead and tell them what to look for. There may be road hazards, changes in direction, or some other situation you should know about. Not only must warning signs be observed for safety reasons, but to disregard them may be a traffic violation. When you encounter a warning sign: 1. Pay attention. 2. Follow instructions. 3. Reduce speed to at least the posted speed signs. Regulatory and warning signs. Regulatory traffic signs instruct drivers what they should, or should not do. In certain circumstances, drivers must obey all regulatory signs in the same manner as traffic laws. These signs help protect the safety of all road users. Guide signs. Guide signs are especially helpful when you are not familiar with an area. Guide signs tell you what road you are on and help you arrive at your destination safely. Note: the full list of signs has been omitted from the audio version of the handbook. Please refer to the printed version of the handbook. You can locate it on the official DMV website or on driving-tests.org. Railroad warning signs. Gate and flashing light. Stop when the lights begin to flash before the gate lowers across your side of the road. Remain stopped until the gates are raised and the lights stop flashing. At railroad crossings, stop within 15 feet to 50 feet of the nearest rail when 1. You are directed to do so by a flag person. 2. There are flashing red lights or warning bells sounding. 3. There is any warning device telling you a train is coming. Pavement markings. Pavement markings help you just like signs and signals. They are used to warn and direct drivers and to regulate traffic. 2-lane rural road with two-way traffic. Keep to the right of the yellow center line. You may cross a broken line when passing another vehicle or when the right half of the road is closed. Do not cross the line if it is not safe or it is a solid yellow line. 3-lane one-way roads. When each lane on a one-way road is marked with a broken white line, you may drive in any lane. When turning from a one-way road, make sure you move into the lane closest to the turn you are going to make well in advance of your turn. Left turn lane only. The only time a vehicle should enter the center lane is at a point where the vehicle will have time to slow down or stop in order to make a safe left turn maneuver. Multi-lane highway, 4 or more lanes. Do not cross the double yellow line to pass. Stay in your lane as much as possible. If you are driving slower, keep in the right-hand lane. Solid and broken lines.
A solid yellow line on your side of the road marks a no-passing zone. Broken or dashed lines permit you to pass or change lanes, if safe. Crosswalks. White crosswalk lines are painted across a road to indicate pedestrian crossing areas. Pedestrians should use these areas when crossing the road. At intersections where stop lines are missing, you must stop before the crosswalk when required to stop by traffic signs, traffic signals, or pedestrians in the crosswalk. White stop lines. White stop lines are painted across the pavement lanes at traffic signs or signals. Where these lines are present, you are required to stop behind the stop line. Solid lines. Solid white lines are used for pavement edge lines, shoulder markings, channelizing, transitions, and lane use control. Crossing a solid white line should be avoided if possible. The solid yellow line on the left edge of the road is a guide for drivers to indicate driving to the left of the yellow line is prohibited. This type of yellow line can be found on interstate highways. Crossing is prohibited where there is a pavement marking of double solid white lines. Barrels. Barrels that are engineered to act as an impact cushion reduce the seriousness of crashes. These barrels are usually installed in front of a solid obstacle and in areas of high crash frequency. Hearing impaired.
If you see this flag on the back of a bicycle, slow down, as the bicycle operator may be hearing impaired. This sign may also be displayed on vehicles to alert others the driver may be hearing impaired. Construction and maintenance devices. Various traffic control devices are used in construction and maintenance work areas to direct drivers, bicyclists, or pedestrians safely through the work zone and to provide for the safety of the workers. The most commonly used traffic control devices are signs, barricades, vertical panels, drums, cones, tubes, flashing arrow panels, and flag individuals. Orange is the basic color for these devices. When you are in a construction and maintenance work area, be prepared. 1. To slow down or stop as you approach workers and equipment. 2. To change lanes. 3. For unexpected movements of workers and equipment. Construction and maintenance signs. Construction and maintenance signs are used to alert drivers of unusual or potentially dangerous conditions in or near work areas. Most signs in work areas are diamond-shaped, but a few are rectangular. Channelizing devices. Barricades, vertical panels, drums, cones, and tubes are the most commonly used devices to alert drivers of unusual or potentially dangerous conditions in highway and street work areas, and to guide drivers safely through the work zone. At night, channelizing devices are often equipped with flashing or steady burn lights. When you encounter any type of channelizing device. 1. Slow down and prepare to change lanes when it is safe to do so. 2. Be prepared for drivers who wait until the last second to move to the open lane. 3. Maintain reduced speed until you clear the construction area. There should be a sign indicating you are leaving the construction area. 4. Return to the normal driving lane only after checking traffic behind you. Passing traffic. The diagonal stripes on the barricade or vertical panel guide the driver towards the direction to where the traffic is to pass. Pass to the right. Stripes sloping downward to the right means the driver should bear to the right. Pass to the left. Stripes sloping downward to the left means the driver should bear to the left. Flashing arrow panels. Large flashing or sequencing arrow panels may be used in work zones day and night to guide drivers into certain traffic lanes and to inform them part of the road ahead is closed. Flag person. A flag person is often provided in roadway work zones to stop, slow, or guide traffic safely through the area. A flag person wears an orange vest, shirt, or jacket and uses stop, slow paddles or red flags to direct traffic through work zones. 1. A flag person is used in cases of extreme hazard. 2. A flag person's instructions must be obeyed. 3. When instructed to stop, do so in your lane and do not veer right or left. 4. Do not attempt to go forward until the flag person instructs you to do so. 5. Proceed with caution, expect the unexpected. 6. Always be on the lookout for oncoming vehicles in your lane of traffic. Automated Flagger Assistance Device, AFAD. An automated flagger assistance device, AFAD, is used to control road users through temporary traffic zones. An AFAD is designed to be remotely operated, allowing a flag person to be positioned out of the lane of traffic. Obey warning signs and barricades. It is a violation to disobey the instructions, signals, warnings, or markings of a warning sign, or to drive around a barricade. The offense is a misdemeanor punishable by a fine of $1 to $200. Fines double in a construction or maintenance work zone when workers are present. The offense is a Class B misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $2,000 and/or up to 180 days in jail when a warning sign or barricade has been placed at a location where water is over any portion of a road, street, or highway. Slow-moving vehicle emblem. This emblem is required for all slow-moving vehicles. Slow-moving vehicles are those designed to operate at a maximum speed of 25 miles per hour or less, and the term includes all vehicles, farm and other machinery, and any other road machinery drawn by either animals or slow-moving motor vehicles. The use of this emblem is prohibited on anything other than a slow-moving vehicle. It must not be used on other vehicles or on stationary objects. Exceptions. The following do not need the special emblem. 1. A vehicle being used in actual construction work while traveling within the limits of a construction area marked as required by the Texas Transportation Commission. 2. An implement or machinery being towed by a slow-moving vehicle bearing an emblem, if this emblem remains visible. Chapter 6. Signaling, passing, and turning. Signaling. A good driver always lets others know if she is going to turn or stop. Signaling communicates your intention when driving and helps other drivers around you to plan ahead. A surprise move often results in a crash. Always be alert, watch for others, and give signals for your movements. Always signal when you are going to 1. Change lanes. 2. Make a turn.
3. Pull away from a parking space parallel to the curb.
4. Slow down or stop.
5. Enter or leave a highway.
6. Pull over to the side of the road.
How to signal.
You may either use turn signal lights or hand and arm signals. If using hand signals, extend your hand and arm well out of the car window as shown below. Always make sure your signals can be easily seen by others, and signal in plenty of time.
Hand and arm signals are usually difficult to see during non-daylight hours, so it is important to make sure your signal lights are working properly. When signaling a stop, pump your brakes a few times to attract attention. Signal continuously for at least 100 feet before turning or stopping, and be sure to turn off your signal lights once your turn is complete. Your unintended signal still means turn to other drivers. Passing. Keep to the right. Never drive on the left side of the road when 1. Pavement markings or signs prohibit driving on the left, a no passing zone or solid lane lines. 2. There are 2 or more traffic lanes in each direction. 3. Within 100 feet of or crossing an intersection or railroad crossing. 4. On a hill, curve, or any other place where vision is limited. 5. Within 100 feet of a bridge, viaduct, or tunnel. Always keep to the right side of the road except when 1. Passing another vehicle on a 2 or 3 lane street. 2. Driving on a one-way street. 3. The right side of the road is blocked. Basic safety rules when you are passing. It is not always safe to pass. Be patient and wait until the time is right. Crashes resulting from improper passing often result in head-on crashes and can be deadly. 1. Make certain the way is clear. 2. Give the proper signal before changing lanes. 3. Tap your horn when necessary to avoid surprising the driver ahead. 4. Avoid cutting in too quickly if you must return to your original lane. How to pass on a 2-lane road. 1. Keep enough distance between you and the car in front of you so you can see ahead clearly. Check the rearview mirror, your side mirrors, and look over your shoulder in your blind spot to make sure the roadway is clear and no other vehicles are passing you. Turn on your left turn signal to alert any drivers behind you. 2. Check well ahead for signs and pavement markings for no passing zones, and always check for oncoming traffic in the left lane. Be sure you have enough time and space to overtake the car ahead and return to the right lane before an approaching car comes within 200 feet of you. 3. Tap your horn when necessary to alert the driver ahead.
4. Pass on the left and do not return to the right lane until you have safely cleared the overtaken vehicle. Wait until you can see the car you have just passed in your rearview mirror before returning to the right lane. 5. Turn on your right turn signal and return to the right lane. Be sure to turn your signal off after you have completed the lane change. Passing on the right. In Texas, you can pass on the right only when conditions permit you to do so safely.
1. The road is clear of parked vehicles or other lane obstructions and is wide enough for 2 or more lanes in each direction. 2. You are on a one-way road.
3. You may pass on a paved shoulder when the vehicle you are passing is slowing or stopped on the main traveled portion of the highway, disabled, or preparing to make a left turn. Do not pass on the right by driving off the paved portion of the highway.
When another vehicle is passing. 1. Do not increase your speed.
2. Stay in your lane. 3. Safely move as far to the right as you can when being passed on the left and the lanes are not marked. 4. Make it as safe and easy as possible for the other driver to pass you.
Blind spot driving.
When you are passing, do not drive or linger in the other driver's blind spot. Either pass the other driver or slow down so you are not in another driver's blind spot. It is likely the other driver cannot see you if you are in or near their blind spot.
Turning.
Turning a corner appears to be a simple operation. However, many crashes and confusion in traffic are caused by drivers who do not turn properly. Refer to the diagrams showing the correct method of making right and left turns. There are 7 steps in making a safe turn.
1. Decide before you get to the turning point. Never make a last-minute turn, it is dangerous. 2. Look behind and to both sides to see where other vehicles are before you change lanes.
3. Move into the proper lane as soon as possible. The faster the traffic is moving, the sooner you should move into the proper lane. If you cannot get into the proper lane within 1/2 block before turning, do not turn, and continue straight ahead. 4. Give the proper turn signal at least 100 feet before you turn. If using a hand signal, hold the signal until you are close enough to the intersection for others to know your intention. Do not hold the signal while making the turn, you need both hands on the wheel.
5. Slow down to a reasonable turning speed prior to making the turn. Don't use the brake or clutch while turning.
6. To properly execute the turn, stay in the proper turn lane at all times. Make the turn correctly. This will be easy if you are in the proper lane and proceeding slowly enough at the time you begin to turn.
7. Finish the turn in the proper lane.
How to make a right turn.
1. Signal for a lane change well ahead of the turning point. When it is safe, move your vehicle to the far right lane.
2. Use your right turn signal and slow down at least 100 feet from the corner.
3. Look both ways before starting to turn.
4. Keep as close as possible to the right edge of the road.
5. Turn using both hands on the wheel.
How to make a left turn. 1. Well ahead of the turning point, signal for a lane change. When it is safe, move into the center lane.
2. Use the left turn signal and slow down at least 100 feet from the corner.
3. Look in all directions before starting to turn. Stay to the right of the center line as you enter the intersection. Yield the right of way to any vehicle approaching from the opposite direction.
4. To complete a left turn you should turn to the right of the center line of the road into which you are turning by entering the lane in which you will interfere the least with other traffic.
5. Once you have completed your left turn, you may signal and change lanes if necessary. Making a left turn from a one-way onto a two-way street.
If you are turning left from a one-way street, you should turn from the left lane into the right lane, moving in the same direction. Making a left turn from a two-way onto a one-way street. If you are turning left onto a one-way street, enter the street in the lane in which you will interfere the least with other traffic. Other turning procedures. Watch for pavement markings and signs that 1. Permit turning right or left from or into 2 or more traffic lanes. 2. Give other special turning or lane information. Chapter 7. Parking, stopping, or standing.
Not all crashes happen while a vehicle is moving. An improperly parked vehicle may also cause a crash. When you leave your vehicle, turn the motor off, set the parking brake and remove the key. Be sure to look behind you for any oncoming traffic before opening your car door. Do not park, stop, or stand a vehicle. In the following situations, you should not park, stop, or allow a vehicle to stand idling. 1. On the roadside of any vehicle stopped or parked at the edge or curb of a street. 2. On a sidewalk or crosswalk. 3. Within an intersection. 4. Between a safety zone and adjacent curb or within 30 feet of a place on the curb immediately opposite the end of a safety zone. 5. Alongside or opposite of any street excavation or obstruction when stopping, standing, or parking would obstruct traffic. 6. On a bridge or other elevated structure on a highway or within a highway tunnel. 7. On any railroad track. 8. At any place where an official sign prohibits stopping. Do not park or stand a vehicle. Whether occupied or not, do not park or allow a vehicle to stand idling. 1. In front of a public or private driveway. 2. Within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. 3. Within 20 feet of a crosswalk at an intersection. 4. Within 30 feet upon the approach to any flashing signal, stop sign, yield sign, or other traffic control signal located at the side of a road. 5. Within 20 feet of the driveway entrance to any fire station and on the side of a street opposite the entrance to any fire station within 75 feet of entrance. 6. At any place where an official sign prohibits parking or standing. Do not park a vehicle. 1. Do not park a vehicle, occupied or not, within 50 feet of the nearest rail of a railroad crossing. 2. Do not park a vehicle at any place where an official sign prohibits parking. Parking, stopping, or standing on a highway outside an urban area. Never park or leave a vehicle to stand idling on the paved part of any highway outside of a business or residential district when you can park off the road. If you cannot park off the road. 1. Leave plenty of room for others to pass. 2. Be sure your vehicle can be seen for at least 200 feet from each direction. 3. If at night, use your parking lights or leave your headlights on dim. 4. A person may stop, stand, or park a bicycle on a sidewalk if the bicycle does not impede the normal and reasonable movement of pedestrian or other traffic on the sidewalk. Disabled parking. It is a violation for a person to park, stand, or stop a vehicle in a parking space designated as disabled parking. Illegally parking in a space reserved for individuals with disabilities is a misdemeanor punishable by a fine of $500 to $750 for the first offense. This fine increases with additional offenses up to $1,250 for 5 or more offenses. Additional offenses also include community service. Texas law specifically states, 1. You may not park in a disabled parking space unless the vehicle has a disabled license plate or state-issued removable windshield identification card. 2. You may not use a disabled parking windshield identification card unless transporting the disabled person to whom it was issued. 3. You may not lend your windshield identification card to someone else. 4. You may not block an access or curb ramp. 5. You may not make, sell, possess, or display a counterfeit disabled parking windshield identification card, or alter a disabled parking windshield identification card. Certain municipalities also prohibit stopping or standing in a disabled parking space unless a disabled parking windshield identification card is visible or the vehicle has a disabled license plate. Do not park in striped areas adjacent to disabled parking spaces or in a striped area in front of an entrance to a business adjacent to a disabled parking space. Striped areas are for wheelchair lifts. Unattended motor vehicle. It is illegal for any driver to permit their car to stand idling unattended without turning off the engine, locking the ignition, removing the key from the ignition, and setting the brake, and when standing on any grade, without turning the front wheels to the curb or side of the road. The requirements regarding turning off the engine, locking the ignition, and removing the key do not apply to a driver who starts the engine by using a remote starter or other similar device that remotely starts the engine without the key in the ignition. Before the vehicle can be operated, the key must be placed in the ignition or must be physically present in the vehicle. Parallel parking. 1. Choose a space large enough for your car to fit. Signal, then stop even with the front of the car about 2 feet out from the space. To alert drivers who may be behind you, be sure to signal before you pass the spot you want to parallel park in. 2. Make sure you will not interfere with oncoming traffic, then turn your front wheels all the way to the right and back slowly toward the curb. 3. When your front seat is opposite the rear bumper of the car ahead, turn your steering wheel all the way to the left, back slowly toward the car behind you without touching it. You should be about 6 inches from the curb. Do not park more than 18 inches from the curb or edge of the road. 4. Straighten your front wheels and pull into the final parking position. Center your car in the space. Leaving a parking space. Use caution when leaving any parking space and check all of your mirrors to make sure nothing is obstructing your vehicle's path, especially pedestrians or children. Children often play between parked cars. Look back before and while you're backing up. Be sure to use your signal to notify other drivers you are leaving your current parking spot. Coasting. It is illegal to coast on a downgrade with the gears or transmission in neutral. Chapter 8. Speed and speed limits. Speed. Generally, you should drive at the same speed as the mainstream of traffic and always be aware of how fast you are traveling. You must always obey the speed limit, and you should consider these best practices below. 1. You should keep a safe distance between your car and the one in front of you. The faster you drive, the greater the distance you should keep from the car ahead of you. For speeds 30 miles per hour or less, the minimum time between your car and the one in front of you is 2 seconds with good road conditions. For speeds above 30 miles per hour, maintain a 4-second gap between cars during good road conditions. During periods of poor road conditions, allow more time. Using a 4-second following interval is the best practice for a beginning or less experienced driver. 1. You should adjust your speed and following distance according to your physical condition and the conditions of the vehicle and road. If you are tired or not feeling well, do not drive. Never force yourself to drive. 3. You should know when to slow down and increase the following distance. A. Slow down and increase the following distance when the road is wet. Many drivers find out too late what a small amount of rain can do. Roads become slippery when wet, making your car harder to control. Slow down and make sure you have complete control of the situation at all times. B. Slow down and increase the following distance when the road is crowded. C. Slow down and increase the following distance when your vision is limited. You should always be able to stop within the distance you can see ahead of your car. In the dark or in bad weather, do not overdrive your range of vision. Speed limits. Drivers are required to obey posted minimum and maximum speed limits. These limits are designed to provide for the orderly flow of traffic under normal driving conditions. During periods of heavy traffic, bad weather, low visibility, or other poor driving conditions, you must adjust your speed and following distance to help avoid crashes. The speed limits table shows the maximum speed limits for all vehicles under different conditions. Drivers must also be aware cities and counties have the authority to change these limits. Entities that establish or alter a speed limit must establish the same speed limit for daytime and nighttime. Table 24. Speed limits. Type of roadway: urban district, speed mph 30. Type of roadway: alley, speed mph 15. Type of roadway: beaches and county roads adjacent to a public beach, if declared by the Commissioner's Court of the county, speed mph 15. Type of roadway: highway numbered by Texas or the U.S. outside an urban district including farm to market and ranch to market roads, speed mph 70. Type of roadway: passenger cars, motorcycles, light truck, passenger car or light truck towing a trailer or semi-trailer, truck or truck tractor, truck or Type of roadway: truck tractor towing a trailer or semi-trailer, buses, school activity bus, speed mph. Type of roadway: school buses which have passed a commercial vehicle inspection, speed mph 60. Type of roadway: highway not numbered by Texas or the U.S. and outside an urban district, speed mph 60. Type of roadway: passenger cars, motorcycles, light truck, passenger car or light truck towing a trailer or semi-trailer, truck or truck tractor, truck or Type of roadway: truck tractor towing a trailer or semi-trailer, buses, school activity bus, speed mph. Type of roadway: school buses that have not passed a commercial vehicle inspection or are traveling on a highway not numbered by Texas or the U.S. Speed MPH 50. After meeting certain requirements, the Texas Transportation Commission has the authority to raise the speed limit to 75 miles per hour on parts of the state highway system if the commission determines the speed limit is a reasonable and safe speed for that section of the highway. The Texas Transportation Commission also has the authority, after meeting certain requirements, to raise the speed limit to not more than 85 miles per hour on a part of the highway if that part is designed to accommodate travel at that speed and the commission determines that speed is reasonable and safe. The Texas Transportation Commission may also establish a speed limit of 80 miles per hour on a part of IH-10 or IH-20 in Crockett, Culberson, Hudspeth, Jeff Davis, Cruer, Kimball, Pecos, Reeves, Sutton, or Ward County if the commission determines 80 miles per hour as a reasonable and safe speed for that section of the highway.
Slow down or move over.
If an emergency medical vehicle, law enforcement vehicle, fire truck, tow truck, or a Texas Department of Transportation vehicle, TXDOT, is stopped on the road with its lights activated, the lights are on or flashing, then the driver is required
1. To reduce his/her speed to 20 miles per hour below the speed limit, or
2. Move out of the lane closest to the emergency medical vehicle, law enforcement vehicle, fire truck, tow truck or a TXDOT vehicle if the road has multiple lanes traveling in the same direction.
There are other instances where it is important to be observant of vehicles stopped in the road. Mail, delivery, and trash collection vehicles often make frequent stops in the roadway. Drivers must proceed with caution, and, if possible, change lanes before safely passing one of these vehicles on the road.
Street racing.
Street racing, also known as drag racing, is illegal and can result in serious injuries or fatalities. Illegal street racers put other drivers at risk because races are typically held on public roads. Due to the high speeds, drivers are unable to react to common road hazards or other driving situations, which often results in crashes.
Illegal street racing also causes unnecessary property damage, including extensive wear on roads, due to the high-powered engines damaging asphalt, which requires costly repairs at the expense to the taxpayer. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration (NHTSA), in 2012 there were 10,219 speeding-related fatalities nationwide, representing 30% of all motor vehicle fatalities in that year. Of these fatalities, 1,247 (12.2%) occurred in Texas. In 2012, 12% of all speeding-related fatalities occurred on interstate highways. A person may not participate in 1. A race. 2. The vehicle speed competition or contest. 3. A drag race or acceleration contest. 4. A test of physical endurance of the operator of a vehicle, or 5. In connection with a drag race, an exhibition of vehicle speed or acceleration, or to make a speed record. The criminal penalty for a conviction of speed racing ranges from a Class B misdemeanor to a second-degree felony. Chapter 9. Some special driving situations. Driving at night is much more dangerous than driving during the day. Many people do not see as well at night. When taking a trip, it is safer to drive during daylight hours. Also, never drive when you are tired. Headlights. Slow down when driving at night and be sure you can stop within the distance lit by your headlights. You must use your headlights beginning 30 minutes after sunset and ending 30 minutes before sunrise, or any time when individuals or vehicles cannot be seen clearly for at least 1,000 feet. Avoid looking directly into the headlights of approaching vehicles. Shift your eyes down to the lower right side of your traffic lane. Use your low-beam headlights when 1. Within 500 feet of an approaching vehicle. 2. Following closely, within 300 feet, behind another vehicle. 3. Driving on lighted roads. 4. Driving in fog, heavy rain, sleet, snow, or dust. If you must park on an unlighted highway at night, leave your parking lights or low-beam headlights on. Highway driving. Freeways, toll roads, throughways, turnpikes, and expressways are designed for maximum safety, but you must know how to use them properly. In Texas, a highway is defined as the width between the boundary lines of a publicly maintained way, any part of which is open to the public for vehicular travel.
Before using a highway, plan your trip in advance so you know your entrance, direction, and exit. Make sure you and your car are in good condition. If you cannot or do not want to drive at or above the minimum speed limit, do not use the highway. Entering the highway.
1. You must yield the right-of-way to vehicles already on the highway.
2. Enter the speed change lane, stay to the right, signal left, and when it is clear, increase your speed to merge with the flow of traffic. Driving on the highway.
Choose the proper lane.
1. Use the right lane to drive at the minimum posted speed limit or below the normal flow of traffic. 2. Use the middle or left lane if you are traveling faster than other traffic or passing other vehicles.
3. If you plan to leave the freeway soon, change to the exit lane as soon as possible.
Observe specific instructions.
Observe specific instructions indicating the lane you should drive in.
Once you are in the proper lane. 1. Stay in the middle of your lane.
2. Do not weave in and out of traffic.
3. Maintain a constant speed. Keep pace with the traffic. Don't speed up and slow down unnecessarily.
4. Stay at least 2 seconds behind the vehicle ahead of you. In bad weather, increase the time to at least 4 seconds. Watch the cars ahead of you. Be prepared if one of the cars ahead of you stops suddenly. 5. Adjust your speed to allow others to enter the highway safely.
6. Vehicles in any lane, except the right lane used for slower traffic, should be prepared to move to another lane to allow faster traffic to pass.
Leaving the highway.
1. Move into the proper lane well in advance of the exit. The greater the amount of traffic, the earlier you should move into the proper lane. Exit signs are usually placed at least 1,000 yards ahead of the exit. 2. Slow down on the exit ramp so by the time you are off the highway, you are within the new, slower speed limit.
Fight highway hypnosis.
The condition of drowsiness or unawareness can be brought on by reduced activity and steady sounds of wind, engine, and tire hum. This is known as highway hypnosis. All drivers should be aware of its danger and of the methods for fighting it.
1. Stop often. Even if you are feeling well, you should stop at least every 2 hours or every 100 miles. Get out of your car and walk around. Allow your muscles to relax.
2. Do not drive more than 8 hours per day. 3. Keep shifting your eyes. Look at different objects, near and far, left and right. Read the road signs as you approach them. Check your rearview mirror.
Highway safety tips.
1. Keep a window open so there is always fresh air in the car to help keep you alert and awake. 2. On bright days, wear good sunglasses. Never wear sunglasses at night.
3. Stay out of another driver's blind spot. Traveling where the driver ahead of you cannot see your vehicle can be dangerous. Stay behind or go around the other vehicle. Do not follow to the side. 4. Avoid using a cell phone while driving. Use may cause distraction and driver inattention. If you must use a cell phone, safely pull off the road or use a hands-free headset. If you are under 18 years of age, it is illegal to use a cell phone while driving even if it is a hands-free device except in the case of emergency. Vehicle breakdown. 1. If you can't get the car off the road, get everyone out of the car and off the road. Portable warning devices should be used to warn oncoming traffic. 2. Move your car off the pavement to the side of the road. A car with a flat or blowout can be driven slowly off the road. 3. Turn on your emergency warning lights. If you do not have warning lights, use your tail lights. At night, in addition to your tail lights and warning lights, turn the lights on inside of the car. 4. Tie a white cloth to your radio antenna, door handle, or some other place where it may be easily seen. If you do not have a white cloth, raise your hood. Controlling a car in special situations. There is one basic rule which applies in all driving situations: think before you act. Steering out of a skid. An automobile skids when its tires lose their grip on the road surface. If the car starts to skid, follow these safety tips. 1. Do not hit the brakes suddenly and hard. Take your foot off the gas pedal, accelerator. 2. Turn your steering wheel in the direction of the skid. As you recover control, gently straighten the wheels. 3. Avoid a situation that could cause a skid by slowing down when the road and weather conditions are poor. Also, check your car's tires. Old or worn tires that have minimal or damaged tread are dangerous. In the illustration below, the direction of the skid is to the right. Brake failure. If your car brakes fail, do not panic. Remember, you can use your parking brake and shift to a lower gear. Apply your parking brake cautiously to keep from locking the brakes and throwing your car into a skid. Running off the pavement. If something causes you to swerve and run off the pavement, do not hit the brakes suddenly and hard. Grip the steering wheel tightly and take your foot off the gas pedal. Use your brakes carefully and do not swing back onto the pavement. Wait until your speed is reduced, check the traffic behind you, and then carefully drive back onto the pavement. Flat tire or blowout. If you have a flat tire or a blowout, do not hit the brakes suddenly and hard. Take your foot off the gas pedal and gently apply the brakes. Steer straight ahead to a stop. Driving down a steep hill. When driving down a steep hill, you can shift your car into a low gear to help slow your vehicle. Never coast in neutral, or for cars with a standard transmission, never coast with your foot on the clutch. Winter driving. Most drivers realize winter creates additional hazards, but many drivers don't know what to do about it. Here are a few precautions you should follow during winter. Table 25. Winter driving safety tips. Safety tip: maintain a safe interval. Explanation: increase the distance from the vehicle ahead of you according to the conditions of the pavement. Many rear-end collisions occur on icy streets because drivers don't leave space to stop. Snow tires will slide on ice or packed snow. To keep safe, you must keep your distance. Safety tip: reduce speed to correspond with conditions. Explanation: there is no such thing as a safe speed range at which you may drive on snow or ice. You must be extremely cautious until you are able to determine how much traction you can expect from your tires. Avoid locking of brakes on ice, as it will cause a loss of steering and control. Every city block and every mile of highway may be different, depending upon sun or shade and the surface of the road. Safety tip: keep windows clear. Explanation: remove snow and ice before you drive, even if you're just driving a few miles. Make certain the windshield wipers and defroster are working properly. Safety tip: watch for danger spots ahead. Explanation: there may be ice on bridges when the rest of the pavement is clear. Snow melts more slowly in shady areas. Take precautions when approaching turns. Safety tip: get a feel for the road. Explanation: start out very slowly. It is useless to burn the rubber off your tires by spinning the wheels. Test your brakes gently after the car is in motion to determine how much traction you have. Start slowing down before you come to a turn. Safety tip: equip your vehicle with chains or snow tires. Explanation: chains are the most effective and should be used where ice and snow remain on the road. One word of caution: neither chains nor snow tires will permit you to drive on slick pavement at normal speeds, so don't get a false feeling of security. Roundabouts. Modern roundabout. A modern roundabout is a one-way, circular intersection where traffic flows counterclockwise around a center island. Modern roundabouts use yield signs rather than traffic lights to control vehicles entering the intersection. This intersection design only has 8 potential conflict points, opposed to a traditional 4-way signalized intersection which has 32 potential conflict points. Driving in a modern roundabout. To drive in a modern roundabout, follow these simple steps. Slow down as you approach the intersection, yield to traffic already in the circle, enter the circle and follow the loop in a counterclockwise direction, and then make a right turn to exit the roundabout. Road signs, pavement markings and its design help guide drivers through a modern roundabout. Advantages of a modern roundabout. A modern roundabout can help save driver and pedestrian lives, as well as greatly reduce the number and severity of crashes. A modern roundabout saves commute time by increasing traffic capacity 30% to 50% even with vehicles traveling at slower speeds. The community also benefits from a safer intersection that lasts more than twice as long as traffic lights that have to be installed, maintained, adjusted, and repaired. There is also a reduction in air pollution and an increase in fuel savings because vehicles are not idling at traffic lights. Floods. Floods are one of the most common hazards in the U.S. Nearly half of all flash flood fatalities are vehicle-related. These are the facts. 6 inches of water will reach the bottom of most passenger cars, causing loss of control and possible stalling. 12 inches of water will float many cars. 2 feet of rushing water will carry away pickup trucks, SUVs, and most other vehicles. Water across a road may hide a missing segment of roadbed or a missing bridge. Roads weaken under floodwater and drivers should proceed cautiously after waters have receded since the road may collapse under the vehicle's weight. National Weather Service and Texas Division of Emergency Management officials say if your vehicle stalls in floodwater, get out quickly and move to higher ground. Better yet, when there's water on the road, turn around, don't drown. Saving your life is as simple as choosing an alternate route. For more information on Turn Around Don't Drown, visit www.srh.weather.gov or on Federal Alliance for Safe Homes Flash, visit www.flash.org. Mailing address, National Weather Service. Southern Region Headquarters 819 Taylor Street. Fort Worth, Texas, 76102. Share the road with trucks, large trucks and truck-tractor combinations. Whether you are sharing the road with a passenger car, motorcycle, truck, bus, or other vehicle, it is important to obey traffic laws, abide by the rules of the road, and drive defensively. Trucks are designed to carry products to and from towns and cities. They are designed to be as maneuverable as cars. Trucks have longer stopping and accelerating distances, a wider turning radius, and weigh more. Passing. 1. When passing a truck, first check to your front and rear, check mirrors and blind spots, then move into the passing lane only if it is clear and you are in a legal passing zone. Let the truck driver know you are passing by flashing your headlights, especially at night. The truck driver should make it easier for you to pass by staying to the far side of the lane. 2. On a level highway, it takes 3 to 5 seconds longer to pass a truck than a car. On an upgrade, a truck often loses speed, so it's easier to pass than a car. On a downgrade, the truck's momentum causes the truck to go faster, so you may need to increase your speed. Complete your pass as quickly as possible and don't stay alongside the other vehicle. 3. If the driver flashes the truck's lights after you pass, it's a signal that it is clear for you to pull back in front of the truck. Be sure to move back only when you can see the entire front of the truck in your rearview mirror. After you pass a truck, maintain your speed.
4. When a truck passes you, help the truck driver by keeping to the far side of your lane. You'll make it easier for the truck driver if you slightly reduce your speed. Don't speed up while the truck is passing. After passing, the truck driver should signal to let you know he is returning to your lane.
5. When you meet a truck coming from the opposite direction, keep as far to the side as possible to avoid a sideswipe crash and to reduce the wind turbulence between the two vehicles. Remember, turbulence pushes vehicles apart. It does not pull them together. Following a truck. 1. Tractor-trailers take longer to stop than a car traveling at the same speed. The average passenger car traveling at 55 miles per hour can stop in approximately 240 feet, which is about 3/4 the length of a football field. A fully loaded tractor-trailer may take more than 400 feet to completely stop, well over the length of a football field.
2. If you're following a truck, stay out of its blind spot at the rear. The blind spot is the area behind the truck that the driver cannot see in his rearview mirrors. Avoid following too closely, and position your vehicle so the truck driver can see your vehicle in the truck's side view mirror. An excellent rule of thumb for motorists sharing the road with a tractor-trailer is, if you can't see the truck driver in his side mirror, he can't see you. By avoiding the truck driver's blind spot, you will have a good view of the road ahead, and the truck driver can give you plenty of warning for a stop or a turn. This will allow you more time to react and make a safe stop.
3. When you follow a truck at night, always dim your headlights. Bright lights from a vehicle behind will blind the truck driver when the lights reflect off the truck's large side mirrors.
4. If you are stopped behind a truck on an upgrade, leave space in case the truck drifts back when it starts to move. Also, keep to the left in your lane so the driver can see you're stopped behind the truck.
Right turns.
Pay attention to turn signals. Trucks make wide, right turns and sometimes leave an open space to the right just before the turn. To avoid a crash, don't pass a truck on the right if there is a possibility the truck might make a right turn.
Backing crashes. Never cross behind a truck preparing to back up. When a truck driver is preparing to back the truck from a road into a loading area, the road is temporarily blocked. Wait for the truck to complete its maneuver before trying to pass. If you pass too closely behind the truck, a crash may occur because you are in the truck's blind spot.
Maneuverability.
On multi-lane highways, tractor-trailers stay in the center lane to help the flow of local traffic on and off the highway. Staying in the center lane also increases the truck driver's options if she has to switch lanes to avoid a crash. Be aware of common mistakes drivers should avoid when driving around trucks and buses. Cutting off a vehicle to reach your exit or turn.
Never cut in front of a truck. Cutting into the open space in front of a truck or bus removes the driver's cushion of safety. Trying to beat a truck to a single-lane construction zone represents a particularly dangerous situation. Either slow down and exit or stay behind the truck.
Never underestimate the size and speed of an approaching tractor-trailer.
Because of its large size, a tractor-trailer often appears to be traveling at a slower speed than it is. A substantial number of car-truck collisions take place at intersections because the driver of the car does not realize how close the truck is or how quickly it is approaching.
Share the road with motorcycles.
Individuals who operate a motorcycle have the same rights and privileges as any other vehicle on the road.
For various reasons, drivers may not see the motorcyclist, and approximately 1/2 of all motorcycle crashes involve another vehicle. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, motorcyclists are about 35 times more likely to die in a traffic crash than passenger car occupants. A few of the most common reasons are provided below. 1. Many drivers tend to look for other cars, not for motorcyclists. 2. The profile of a motorcycle is much smaller than the profile of a car, making an approaching motorcyclist harder to see. 3. Estimating the distance and speed of a motorcycle is more difficult than it is for a car. 4. Motorcycle riding requires frequent lane movements to adjust to changing road conditions. 5. Distracted driving, such as texting or talking on a cell phone. Situations when crashes are most likely to occur. Motorcycle crashes are most likely to occur in the high-risk situations described below. Left turns. The most common crash between cars and motorcycles is at an intersection when the driver of a car is making a left turn in front of a motorcycle. Over 40% of all motorcycle crashes occur at intersections. Nearly 66% of those crashes were caused by the other vehicles turning left in front of the motorcyclist. A car's blind spot. Motorcyclists are often hidden in a vehicle's blind spot or missed in a quick look due to their smaller size. Always make a visual check for motorcycles by checking mirrors and blind spots before entering or leaving a lane of traffic and at intersections. Hazardous road conditions. Road conditions that are a minor annoyance to you may pose a major hazard to motorcyclists. Motorcyclists may suddenly change speed or adjust their position within a lane in reaction to changes in the weather, road, or traffic conditions. This may include potholes, gravel, railroad crossings, and wet or slippery surfaces which impair the motorcyclist's braking and handling abilities. Expect and allow room for such actions by the motorcyclist. Strong winds. A strong gust of wind can move a motorcycle across an entire lane if the rider isn't prepared for it. Wind gusts from large trucks in the other lane can also be a hazard. Large vehicles. A large vehicle such as a van, bus, or truck can block a motorcycle from a driver's view and the motorcyclist may seem to suddenly appear from nowhere. Motorcycle driving awareness. Look out for motorcyclists. Although you may not see any cars, be aware there may be a motorcycle. Be careful at intersections, and always take a second look for a motorcycle before turning at an intersection, particularly when making left turns. Signal your intentions. Always signal before changing lanes or merging with traffic. This allows the motorcyclist to anticipate traffic flow and find a safe lane position. Signal even if you don't see cars or motorcycles. Be careful when making left turns across lanes of approaching traffic. Look carefully in all directions for approaching motorcyclists. Don't be fooled by a flashing turn signal. Motorcycle signals usually are not self-canceling and riders sometimes forget to turn them off. Wait to be sure the motorcycle is going to turn before you proceed. Respect a motorcycle. Allow the motorcyclist a full lane width. Although it may seem as though there is enough room in the traffic lane for an automobile and a motorcycle, the motorcycle is entitled to a full lane and may need the room to maneuver safely. Do not attempt to share the lane with a motorcycle. Allow plenty of space when following a motorcycle. The slightest contact can mean a spill or injury for the rider. Allow more following distance, at least 4 to 6 seconds, when following a motorcycle so the motorcyclist has enough time to maneuver or stop in an emergency. Stop a safe distance behind the motorcyclist at intersections, signals, or crossings. A full vehicle length is recommended to help prevent impact with the motorcycle should your vehicle suffer a rear-end collision. In dry conditions, motorcycles can stop more quickly than a car, so being aware and alert at all times can help prevent a collision. DPS Motorcycle Operator Training Program. The DPS Motorcycle Operator Training and Safety Program was created in 1983 by the legislature to improve rider skills and reduce the number and severity of motorcycle crashes in Texas. A portion of each motorcycle license fee is used to support this program. The program develops curriculum and monitors motorcycle training classes throughout the state and promotes motorcycle safety and awareness through campaigns, exhibits, and materials. Contact Motorcycle Safety at www.dps.texas.gov/msb or call 800-292-5787. Residents in the Austin area can call 512-424-2021 for information about motorcycle safety or to locate the nearest training location. Share the road with light rail. In recent years, light rail has been established in many major cities in Texas. As you travel these areas, you may notice these trains move along the streets just like other vehicles. Light rail is very quiet, and, in fact, quieter than most buses and cars. So whether you are riding light rail or just walking or driving near the train or tracks, it's important to stay alert and observe the safety rules. Table 26, Safety Rules for Light Rail. Action. Stop. Description. Don't walk in front of, between, or behind a train. Trains can't start or stop quickly regardless of traffic flow. Do not drive, stop, or park your vehicle on the tracks. It's dangerous and illegal. Action. Look. Description. Cross the tracks only at designated crossings and only when it is safe. Look both ways before crossing the tracks. Trains travel in both directions. Obey all warning signs, flashing lights, signals, and crossing gates. A law enforcement officer will issue tickets to violators. Action. Listen. Description. Stay alert. Light rail is quieter than a bus or most cars. You may not hear a light rail coming. Listen for train horns and signal bells. Always follow instructions from a law enforcement officer. Action. Don't. Description. Never race a train, run in front of a train, or put anything on or near the tracks. Never try to beat the train to a crossing. Even in a tie, you lose. Never drive around crossing gate arms. Share the road with bicycles. A bicycle is a vehicle. Any person riding a bicycle has all of the rights and responsibilities as a driver of a vehicle. Rules for motorists and bicyclists. 1. Bicyclists are not restricted to the right lane of traffic. One-way, multi-lane streets are one example of this. Another instance is when the bicyclist is changing lanes to make a left turn. The bicyclist should follow the same path any other vehicle would take traveling in the same direction. 2. A motorist should merge with bicycle traffic when preparing for a right turn. Avoid turning directly across the path of bicycle traffic. 3. Bicyclists are required to ride as far to the right in the lane as possible only when the lane can be shared safely by a car and a bicycle, side by side. Even then, there are certain conditions which allow a bicyclist to take the full lane. The bicyclist is overtaking and passing another vehicle proceeding in the same direction. The bicyclist is preparing for a left turn at an intersection or onto a private road or driveway. There are unsafe conditions in the road such as fixed or moving objects, parked or moving vehicles, pedestrians, animals, potholes, or debris. The lane is of substandard width, making it unsafe for a car and a bicycle to safely share the lane side by side. When this is the case, it is best for the cyclist to take the full lane whether riding single file or two abreast. Car-bicycle crashes. Be on the lookout for cyclists on the road, especially at intersections. The most common car-bicycle crashes caused by a motorist are: 1. A motorist turns left in front of oncoming bicycle traffic. Oncoming bicycle traffic is often overlooked or its speed misjudged. 2. A motorist turns right across the path of the bicycle. The motorist should slow down and merge with the bicycle traffic for a safe right turn. 3. A motorist pulls away from a stop sign and fails to yield the right-of-way to bicycle cross-traffic. At intersections, the right-of-way rules apply equally to motor vehicles and bicycles. Distracted driving. Whenever you are driving a vehicle and your attention is not on the road, you're putting yourself, your passengers, other vehicles, and pedestrians in danger. Distracted driving can result when you perform any activity that may shift your full attention from the driving task. Taking your eyes off the road or hands off the steering wheel presents obvious driving risks. Mental activities that take your mind away from driving are just as dangerous. Your eyes can gaze at objects in the driving scene but fail to see them because your attention is distracted elsewhere. Activities that can distract your attention include texting, talking to passengers, adjusting the radio, CD player or climate controls, eating, drinking or smoking, reading maps or other literature, picking up something that fell, reading billboards and other road advertisements, watching other people and vehicles including aggressive drivers, talking and or texting on a cell phone or CB radio, using telematics devices, such as navigation systems, pagers, etc., daydreaming or being occupied with other mental distractions. If drivers react a half-second slower because of distractions, crashes double. Some tips to follow so you won't become distracted. Review and be totally familiar with all safety and usage features on any in-vehicle electronics, including your wireless device or cell phone, before you drive. Pre-program radio stations. Preload your favorite CDs or cassette tapes. Clear the vehicle of any unnecessary objects. Review maps and plan your route before you begin driving. Adjust all mirrors for best all-round visibility before you start your trip. Do not attempt to read, text, or write while you drive. Avoid smoking, eating and drinking while you drive. Don't engage in complex or emotionally intense conversations with other occupants. You need to be able to recognize other drivers who are engaged in any form of driving distraction. Not recognizing other distracted drivers can prevent you from perceiving or reacting correctly in time to prevent a crash. Watch for vehicles that may drift over the lane divider lines or within their own lane. Vehicles traveling at inconsistent speeds. Drivers who are preoccupied with maps, food, cigarettes, cell phones, or other objects. Drivers who appear to be involved in conversations with their passengers. Give a distracted driver plenty of room and maintain your safe following distance. Be very careful when passing a driver who seems to be distracted. The other driver may not be aware of your presence, and they may drift in front of you. Texting while driving. It is against the law to read, write, or send messages in a cell phone or other portable wireless device. If your cell phone rings, do not answer the call or respond to the text message. Convictions for violations of this law are subject to fines. You may use a cell phone to contact law enforcement, or during an emergency. If you must make a call, pull safely off the road and make the call. Try to keep the conversation short, or have a passenger make the call for you, if possible. Chapter 10. Alcohol and drug impact on the driving ability. Any drug may affect a person's ability to drive. Millions of people take over-the-counter and prescription medications, illegal drugs, or drink alcohol and do not realize they may affect the mental and physical psychomotor skills necessary to operate a vehicle and, or react to external events while driving a vehicle. Each individual is different. Driving skills of persons taking the same drug may be affected differently. A driver's body weight, emotional state, amount of drug taken, and when the drug was taken will influence the driver's ability to assess an emergency situation or judge speed and distance. Safe driving always requires an observant eye, a steady hand, and a clear head. When a person drinks alcohol or uses drugs, one of the first effects is they lose their judgment and their sight is impaired, causing slower reactions to sounds and the inability to judge another vehicle's speed. A person's ability to reason can all but disappear. Good judgment may be as simple as saying no to a friend who wants to race their car. However, if a person has been drinking alcohol or they are under the influence of drugs, their judgment may turn into, "Sure, take my car." Taking more than one drug at the same time is even more dangerous since drugs may have a different overall cumulative effect, especially when alcohol is involved. Besides escalating the overall effects of the other drugs, alcohol can also mask the effects of those drugs, increasing a person's risk of poor decision-making and/or slowing responsive reactions to situations. You should always check with a doctor or pharmacist before taking more than one type of drug or mixing drugs, especially tranquilizers or sedatives. Table 27. Alcohol and other types of drugs. Type: marijuana. Description: research shows even typical social doses of marijuana can affect concentration, judgment, and sensory and perceptual skills needed for careful driving. People who are under marijuana influence have impaired sensory and perceptual abilities. Type: stimulants. Description: heavy amphetamine use may keep drivers awake and active for long periods of time. It also makes them less coordinated, edgy, and is more likely to be involved in a car crash. Research shows typical social amounts of cocaine can produce lapses in attention and concentration. While caffeine can help drowsy drivers stay alert, it can't make a drunk driver sober. Studies show ordinary amounts of caffeine don't improve a drunk driver's ability to operate a vehicle. Type: tranquilizers, sedative hypnotics. Description: tranquilizers, sedative hypnotic drugs, including barbiturates, are powerful depressants, which calm people down or help them sleep. Tired or over-sedated drivers are not good drivers. Type: over-the-counter drugs. Description: many over-the-counter drugs cause drowsiness in some people, which can affect their driving. Read the labels and be careful with antihistamines, other cold preparations, or any medicine that relaxes or promotes sleep. Type: any drug. Description: any drug might affect your ability as a driver. If you take more than one drug or if you mix drugs, especially tranquilizers or other sedative hypnotics with alcohol, you could be asking for trouble on the road and off. If you have doubts about a drug or drug mix, check with a doctor or pharmacist. Type: alcohol. Description: each year alcohol, a depressant drug affecting coordination, judgment, perception, and emotional state, is responsible for a significant number of highway deaths. Alcohol increases the depressant effects of tranquilizers and barbiturates. Mixing these drugs, on or off the road, can be hazardous. The number one killer is alcohol. Driving while intoxicated (DWI) is a problem affecting all Texans. According to the calendar year 2014 Texas Motor Vehicle Traffic Crash Highlights, Texas Department of Transportation, 1041 persons were killed in a motor vehicle traffic crash with a driver under the influence of alcohol. Alcohol-related crashes represent 29% of the total number of persons killed in motor vehicle traffic crashes. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the leading cause of death for U.S. teens is motor vehicle crashes. In 2011, approximately 2,650 teens aged 16 to 19 were killed and almost 292,000 were treated in emergency departments for injuries suffered in motor vehicle crashes. That means 7 teens aged 16 to 19 died every day from motor vehicle injuries. In 2013, Texas had the highest number of alcohol-impaired driving fatalities in the United States, and 17% of drivers aged 16 to 20 involved in fatal crashes had a blood alcohol concentration (BAC) of 0.08 or higher. Not all teens involved in fatal crashes were drinking. Some were passengers or innocent victims of people who drink and drive. Maybe one of those injured or killed was a family member or your best friend. It could have been you. To make Texas safer, the Texas legislature enacted laws to deter people from drinking and driving by penalizing those who choose to drink and drive. In Texas, a person is considered legally intoxicated if the person has a BAC of 0.08 or more. Driving while intoxicated (DWI) and driving under the influence (DUI) arrests can be a humiliating experience and are costly. Some fines range as high as $10,000, not including the cost of a bail bondsman, attorney, or other court-required expenses. Is it worth the risk? Open container. It is illegal to possess an open container of alcohol in a motor vehicle passenger area located on a public highway, regardless of whether the vehicle is being operated, stopped, or parked. Conviction of this offense is punishable by a fine not to exceed $500. Myths about drinking alcohol. Taking cold showers, drinking black coffee, or exercising will not make a person sober. Only time, based on body weight, number of drinks, and food intake can minimize the effects of alcohol. It takes about 1 hour for the body to rid itself of each drink consumed. If a person has been drinking, someone who has not been drinking should drive. Texas tough alcohol-related laws for minors. Zero tolerance for minors. According to the Texas Alcohol Beverage Code, a minor is any individual who is under 21 years of age. A minor may not purchase, attempt to purchase, consume, or possess an alcoholic beverage. Since a minor should not possess alcohol, Texas passed zero-tolerance legislation for minors who commit an offense under the non-driving alcohol-related laws and for minors who drive under the influence. Zero tolerance means just that, even if a minor is not intoxicated as defined under the DWI statute, but has any detectable amount of alcohol in his/her system while operating a motor vehicle in a public place or while operating a watercraft, the minor committed the criminal offense of driving under the influence of alcohol by a minor. See Table 31. Penalties for non-driving alcohol-related offenses by minors. The Texas zero-tolerance law established penalties for minors who commit offenses under the non-driving alcohol-related offenses. A minor may not purchase, attempt to purchase, falsely state he/she is 21 years of age or older, or present any document indicating he/she is 21 years of age or older to a person engaged in the selling or serving of alcoholic beverages. A minor may not consume, or possess an alcoholic beverage. Persons who purchase, furnish, or sell alcohol to a minor can be fined of up to $4,000 and/or confined in jail for up to 1 year. Table 28. Penalties for non-driving alcohol-related offenses, minors. Offense. First offense. Penalty. Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500, 8 to 12 hours of community service, mandatory attendance of an alcohol awareness course, and license will be suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 30 days. If the minor is under 18, the parent may be required to also attend the alcohol awareness course. Offense. Second offense. Penalty. Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500, 20 to 40 hours of community service, may be required to attend an alcohol awareness course, and license will be suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 60 days. Offense. Third offense. Under 17 years of age. Penalty. Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500, 20 to 40 hours of community service, may be required to attend an alcohol awareness course, and license will be suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 60 days or case can be transferred to juvenile court. Offense. Third offense. 17 to 21 years of age. Penalty. Class B misdemeanor punishable by a fine of $250 to $2,000, 40 to 60 hours of community service, may be required to attend an alcohol awareness course, confinement in jail not to exceed 180 days, and license will be suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 180 days. Minors are not eligible for deferred disposition or adjudication on the third conviction and every conviction after. In addition to the above penalties, if a minor is convicted of any moving vehicle violation while suspended due to a non-driving alcohol-related offense listed above, they are subject to the penalties of driving while license invalid (DWLI). Implied consent laws for minors. A minor implies their consent to take one or more breath or blood specimen for analysis if they are arrested for operating a motor vehicle or watercraft in a public place while intoxicated, or if there is any detectable or noticeable amount of alcohol in their system while operating a motor vehicle in a public place as deemed by an officer. The breath or blood specimen will determine if alcohol is present in their body. It will also identify the amount of alcohol in their system. Additionally, the breath or blood specimen can identify the presence of any other controlled substances or drugs. Refusal to provide a breath or blood specimen will result in the suspension of the minor's license or driving privileges if not licensed. Table 29. Penalties for refusal to provide a specimen, minors. Offense. First offense. Penalty. Driver license suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 180 days. Offense. Second and subsequent offenses. Penalty. Driver license suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 2 years. A minor who gives a breath or blood specimen that confirms he/she has been operating a motor vehicle in a public place with any detectable amount of alcohol in his/her system and the amount is below the 0.08 BAC legal limit of intoxication will have his/her license suspended or driving privilege denied if not licensed. Table 30. Minor provided specimen confirming detectable amount of alcohol failure. Offense. First offense. Penalty. Driver license suspended or privilege denied if not licensed for 60 days. Offense, second offense, penalty, driver license suspended, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 120 days. Offense, third and subsequent offenses, penalty, driver license suspended, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 180 days. A minor may request a hearing before a hearing officer to contest the suspension. Table 31, penalties for driving under the influence DUI of alcohol and drugs minors. Offense, first offense, penalty, Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500, community service of 20 to 40 hours, and attendance in an alcohol awareness course is required. If the minor is under 18, the parent may be required to also attend the course. Offense, second offense, penalty, Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500, community service of 40 to 60 hours. The alcohol awareness course may be required. Offense, third offense, under 17 years of age, penalty, Class C misdemeanor punishable by a fine of up to $500, community service of 40 to 60 hours. The alcohol awareness course may be required or the case can be transferred to juvenile court as delinquent conduct. Offense, third offense, 17 to 21 years of age, penalty, Class B misdemeanor punishable by a fine of $500 to $2,000 and or confinement in jail not to exceed 180 days, community service of 40 to 60 hours, an alcohol awareness class may be required, and the minor's license will be suspended, or privilege denied of not licensed, for 1 year or for 90 days with a judge's order to install an ignition interlock device. The court may not give deferred disposition or adjudication on the third offense. In Texas, as a reminder, a person is considered legally intoxicated if they have a blood alcohol concentration (BAC) of 0.08 or more. Table 32, penalties for driving while intoxicated, alcohol, minors. Offense, first offense, penalty, Class B misdemeanor punishable by a fine not to exceed $2,000, confinement in jail for 72 hours to 180 days, and suspension of the driver license, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 365 days, or for 90 days with a judge's order to install an ignition interlock device. The court may probate the jail sentence and waive the license suspension on the first offense only. Possession of an open container of an alcoholic beverage increases the minimum confinement to 6 days. Offense, second offense, penalty, Class A misdemeanor punishable by a fine not to exceed $4,000, confinement in jail for 30 days to 1 year, and suspension of the driver license, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 180 days to 18 months. Offense, third offense and every offense after, penalty, felony of the third degree punishable by a fine not to exceed $10,000, imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, for 2 to 10 years, and suspension of the driver license, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 180 days to 18 months. Offense, DWI with passenger under 15, penalty, a state jail felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $10,000, confinement in state jail for 180 days to 2 years and suspension of the driver license, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 90 days to 1 year. Offense, intoxication assault, penalty, third-degree felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $10,000, imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, for 2 to 10 years, and suspension of the driver license, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 90 days to 1 year. Offense, intoxication manslaughter, penalty, second-degree felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $10,000, imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, for 2 to 20 years, and a suspension of the driver license, or privilege denied if not licensed, for 180 days to 2 years. Texas alcohol-related laws for adults.
Implied consent laws for adults.
The implied consent for adults is similar to that of minors.
Like the minor, an adult implies their consent to take one or more breath or blood specimen for analysis if they are arrested for operating a motor vehicle or watercraft in a public place while intoxicated, or if they are an adult up to 21 years of age and there is any detectable or noticeable amount of alcohol in their system while operating a motor vehicle in a public place as deemed by an officer. The breath or blood specimen determines if alcohol is present in their body and will identify the amount of alcohol in their system as well as the presence of any other controlled substances or drugs.
A person who refuses to give a blood or breath specimen for analysis will have their driver license suspended for 180 days. If a person submits to a blood or breath specimen and the results show a BAC of 0.08 or greater, their driver license may be suspended for 90 to 365 days. Anyone with a BAC of 0.08 or more is considered intoxicated. Table 33. Penalties for DWI and DUI of alcohol or drugs. Adults.
Offense. First offense. Fine. Up to $2,000. Confinement. 72 hours to 180 days in jail. Driver license suspension. 90 days to 365 days.
Offense. Second offense. Fine. Up to $4,000. Confinement. 30 days to 1 year in jail. Driver license suspension. 180 days to 2 years. Offense. Third and subsequent offenses. Fine. Up to $10,000. Confinement. 2 to 10 years in TDCJ. Driver license suspension. 180 days to 2 years.
Offense. DWI with passenger under 15. Fine. Up to $10,000. Confinement. 180 days to 2 years in state jail. Driver license suspension. 90 days to 2 years.
Offense. Intoxication assault. Fine. Up to $10,000. Confinement. 2 to 10 years in TDCJ. Driver license suspension. 90 days to 2 years.
Offense. Intoxication manslaughter. Fine. Up to $10,000. Confinement. 2 to 20 years in TDCJ. Driver license suspension. 180 days to 2 years.
Know your legal limit.
The legal limit in Texas is 0.08 BAC or any amount which results in the loss of normal use of mental or physical faculties. The information provided in the Alcohol and Driving. Why Take the Risk? Table below is only a guide and is based on calculated averages. Alcohol tolerance may vary by individual. Food intake, medications, health, gender and psychological conditions are also influential factors, which affect the rate of alcohol absorption.
Drivers are encouraged to take drug and alcohol awareness courses to become better educated about the effects and consequences of drugs and alcohol. Insurance companies may provide liability insurance discounts to drivers who complete drug and alcohol awareness courses. A drink may include a 12-ounce can of beer, a mixed drink with 1.5 ounces of liquor, or a 5-ounce glass of wine. They all contain approximately the same amount of alcohol. Chapter 11. Motor vehicle crashes. Most crashes in Texas result from speeding, failure to yield or stop appropriately, and driving under the influence of alcohol. If requested and available, exchange names, addresses, phone numbers, vehicle identification numbers, vehicle license plate numbers, driver license information, and insurance information with all drivers involved in the crash. Write the insurance company name and policy number exactly as it is shown on the driver's proof of insurance card. If you have the name of the driver's insurance company and the information is not listed directly on the insurance card, call the Texas Department of Insurance at 800-252-3439 to get the company address and telephone number. Be sure to also note the location of the crash and write down the contact information if there are any witnesses. You should always notify the appropriate law enforcement agency as soon as possible when there is an injury or fatality. The vehicles involved cannot be moved off the roadway. A driver leaves the scene of the crash. You suspect a driver is intoxicated. If you are involved in a crash that is not investigated by a law enforcement officer and the crash has not resulted in injury or death of a person or damage to property of $1,000 or more, you must make a written report of the crash and file it with the Texas Department of Transportation, TX. No later than the 10th day after the date of the crash. The written report must be on a TX. Specified form. For a copy of this form, please visit the TX. Website at www.tx.gov. Crash resulting in injury to, or death of a person. If you are operating a motor vehicle involved in a crash resulting in injury to or death of a person, you must immediately stop your vehicle at the scene of the crash, or as close as possible to the scene of the crash, without obstructing traffic more than necessary. If you did not stop your vehicle at the scene, you must immediately return and remain at the scene of the crash until you have complied with the following. 1. Provide your name and address, the registration number of the vehicle you were driving, and the name of your motor vehicle liability insurer to any person injured, or to the operator or occupant of, or person attending a vehicle involved in the collision. 2. Show your driver license, if requested and available. to any person injured, or to the operator or occupant of, or person attending a vehicle involved in the collision. 3. Provide any person injured in the crash reasonable assistance including transporting or making arrangements for transporting the person to a physician or hospital for medical treatment if it is apparent treatment is necessary, or if the injured person requests the transportation.
Table 35. Penalties for failure to stop.
Offense. First offense crash resulting in a death of a person. Penalty. Second-degree felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $10,000 and imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, for 2 to 20 years. Offense. First offense crash resulting in serious bodily injury. Penalty. Third-degree felony punishable by a fine not to exceed $10,000 and imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, for 2 to 10 years. Offense. First offense crash resulting in injury. Penalty. Imprisonment in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, TDCJ, for up to 5 years or confinement in the county jail for up to 1 year. A fine not to exceed $5,000, or both a fine and imprisonment. Crash resulting in damage to a vehicle.
If you are operating a motor vehicle involved in a crash resulting only in damage to a vehicle that is driven or attended by a person, you must immediately stop your vehicle at the scene of the crash or as close as possible to the scene of the crash without obstructing traffic more than necessary. If the crash occurs on a main lane, ramp, shoulder, median, or adjacent area and each vehicle involved can be normally and safely driven, drivers must move their vehicle as soon as possible to a designated crash investigation site, if available, a location on the frontage road, the nearest suitable cross street, or other suitable location. If you did not stop your vehicle at the scene, you must immediately return and remain at the scene of the crash until you have complied with the following.
1. Provide your name and address, the registration number of the vehicle you were driving, and the name of your motor vehicle liability insurer to any person injured, or to the operator or occupant of, or person attending a vehicle involved in the collision. 2. Show your driver license, if requested and available, to any person injured, or to the operator or occupant of, or person attending a vehicle involved in the collision. 3. Provide any person injured in the crash reasonable assistance including transporting or making arrangements for transporting the person to a physician or hospital for medical treatment if it is apparent treatment is necessary, or if the injured person requests the transportation. Table 36. Penalties for failure to stop. Offense. First offense less than $200 in damages. Penalty. Class C misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $500. Offense. First offense $200 or more in damages. Penalty. Class B misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $2,000, confinement in jail for up to 180 days, or both. Crash involving an unattended vehicle. If you are operating a motor vehicle that collides with and damages an unattended vehicle, you must immediately stop and either 1. Locate the operator or owner of the unattended vehicle and give your name and address. 2. Securely attach a written notice in a visible way to the unattended vehicle providing your name and address, a statement of the circumstances of the collision. Table 37. Penalties for failure to stop. Offense. First offense less than $200 in damages. Penalty. Class C misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $500. Offense. First offense $200 or more in damages. Penalty. Class B misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $2,000, confinement in jail for up to 180 days, or both. Crash resulting in damages to a fixture, landscaping, or structure. If you are driving a motor vehicle involved in a crash resulting only in damage to a fixture, landscaping, or structure legally on or adjacent to a highway, you must 1. Take reasonable steps to locate the owner, or person in charge, of the property and notify him, her of the crash. 2. Provide your name, address, and registration number of the vehicle you were driving. 3. If requested and available, you must show your driver license to the owner or person in charge of the property. 4. If the crash is not investigated by a law enforcement officer and the crash has not resulted in injury to or the death of a person or damage to the property of any one person to an apparent extent of $1,000 or more, you must make a written report of the crash and file it with the TXDOT no later than the 10th day after the crash. Table 38. Penalties for failure to comply with damages. Offense. First offense, less than $200 in damages. Penalty. Class C misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $500. Offense. First offense, $200 or more in damages. Penalty. Class B misdemeanor and is punishable by a fine not to exceed $2,000, confinement in jail for up to 180 days, or both. Hit and run crashes. If you are involved in a hit-and-run crash, report this crash to law enforcement for investigation. The Texas Department of Insurance advises uninsured motorist coverage will pay for damages in hit-and-run crashes reported to a law enforcement agency. Aiding the injured. In the event you are involved in a crash that injures another person, consider the information below. 1. When calling a doctor or ambulance, ensure you take notice of your surroundings and state the location of the crash clearly and correctly. 2. Do not assume people are not injured simply because they say they are not. Send for skilled help as quickly as possible. Unskilled handling can do more harm than good. 3. Do not move or lift the victims unless it is absolutely necessary. If a victim must be moved, get help and try not to change the position in which the victim was found. 4. Stop serious bleeding with thick cloth pads, as clean as possible, apply with pressure by hand or by bandaging. 5. Keep the victims comfortable. If it is hot, cool the victims and provide shade as much as possible. If it is cool, cover the victim with blankets or coats if necessary and if available. Chapter 12. Pedestrian Safety. A driver should always pay special attention to pedestrians, persons on foot. However, there are certain safety rules pedestrians should follow. Laws and safety tips for pedestrians. 1. Obey traffic control signals unless otherwise directed by a pedestrian control signal. 2. Do not cross the street between two intersections. It is dangerous to cross in the middle of a street. 3. Use sidewalks when available, and do not walk in the street. 4. Walk on the left side of the road if there are no sidewalks. Step off the pavement when a car approaches. 5. If you cross a street at any point other than within a crosswalk at an intersection, you, the pedestrian, must yield the right-of-way to all vehicles. 6. If you cross a street without using a pedestrian tunnel or overhead pedestrian crossing which has been provided, you, the pedestrian, must yield the right-of-way to all vehicles. 7. When crossing at a crosswalk, keep right if possible. 8. Blind, partially blind, or disabled individuals may carry a white cane while walking. Others must not display a cane on any public street or highway. 9. No person may stand in the road for the purpose of soliciting a ride, contributions, or business. A person may stand in a road to solicit a charitable contribution if authorized to do so by the local authority having jurisdiction over the road. 10. Do not suddenly walk or run into the street in the path of a vehicle. These sudden actions may make it impossible for the vehicle operator to yield. 11. Wait on the curb, not in the street, until the traffic signals change to green or read walk. 12. Always wear white or light-colored clothing and/or carry a light or reflector when walking at night. 13. Look both ways before crossing the street and before stepping out from behind parked cars. 14. Be extra careful when getting off a streetcar or bus. 15. Get in and out of cars on the curb side of the road when possible. 16. Do not walk on a road when you are under the influence or consuming an alcoholic beverage. Alcohol is a contributing factor to pedestrian traffic crashes. 17. Pedestrians should be aware that local authorities may have ordinances which require pedestrians to comply with the directions of an official traffic control device, signals, signs, etc., and prohibit pedestrians from crossing a road in a business district or a designated highway, except in a crosswalk. Laws and safety tips for motorists. 1. If you see a pedestrian crossing or attempting to cross the street, slow down, use your horn if necessary, and be prepared to stop. 2. Be alert to a pedestrian guided by an assistance animal or carrying a white cane. The white cane indicates the person may be blind, partially blind, or disabled. A driver shall take the necessary precautions to avoid injuring or endangering a pedestrian crossing or attempting to cross the street. The driver shall bring the vehicle to a full stop if injury or danger can only be avoided by that action. 3. Watch for individuals who are blind at bus stops, intersections, business areas, and near schools for the blind. Chapter 13. Bicycle Laws and Safety. Bicycle traffic laws. A bicycle is a vehicle. Any person riding a bicycle has the same rights and responsibilities that apply to a driver operating a vehicle unless these cannot, by their nature, apply to a person operating a bicycle. Any person who operates a bicycle is subject to the same penalties for violating a traffic law as a person operating a motor vehicle. All traffic convictions will be placed on the individual's driver record, regardless if the conviction was for an offense committed on a bicycle or in a motor vehicle. Dose. 1. Always obey all traffic laws, signs, and signals. Stop at all stop signs and red lights. 2. Always ride with the flow of traffic. 3. Only ride on or astride a permanent and regular seat. 4. When operating a bicycle on a one-way road with 2 or more marked traffic lanes, ride as near as possible to the left curb or edge of the road. 5. Individuals riding 2 abreast on a laned road must ride in a single lane and not impede the flow of traffic. 6. Bicyclists may ride on the shoulder of the road. 7. Bicyclists must signal a turn or stop by A. Using either their left arm pointing up or their right arm pointed horizontally to signal a right turn. B. Using their left arm pointed horizontally to signal a left turn. C. Using their left arm pointed downward to signal a stop. 8. A person operating a bicycle who is moving slower than the other traffic on the road shall ride as near as possible to the right curb or edge of the road unless A. The person is overtaking and passing another vehicle proceeding in the same direction. B. The person is preparing for a left turn at an intersection or onto a private road or driveway. C. There are unsafe conditions in the road such as fixed or moving objects, parked or moving vehicles, pedestrians, animals, potholes, or debris, or D. The person is operating a bicycle in an outside lane that is less than 14 feet in width and doesn't have a designated bicycle lane adjacent to that lane, or the lane is too narrow for a bicycle and a motor vehicle to safely travel side by side. Don'ts. 1. Never carry more than the number of individuals it is designated or equipped for. 2. Never ride opposite the flow of traffic. 3. Never attach the bicycle or person to a moving streetcar or vehicle upon a road. 4. Never carry any package, bundle, or article which prevents the rider from keeping at least one hand on the handlebars. Shared lane marking. The shared lane marking may be used to 1. Assist bicyclists with lateral positioning in a shared lane with on-street parallel parking in order to reduce the chance of a bicyclist impacting the open door of a parked vehicle. 2. Assist bicyclists with lateral position in lanes too narrow for a motor vehicle and a bicycle to travel side by side within the same traffic lane. 3. Alert road users of the lateral location bicyclists are likely to occupy within the traveled way. 4. Encourage safe passing of bicyclists by motorists, or 5. Reduce the incidence of wrong-way bicycling. Bicycles must be properly equipped. 1. Every bicycle must be equipped with a brake, which will enable the operator to make the wheels skid on dry, level, clean pavement when applied. 2. Hearing-impaired bicycle riders may display a safety flag. 3. Every bicycle used at nighttime must be equipped with A lamp on the front which emits a white light visible from a distance of at least 500 feet in front of the bicycle, and B. A red, DPS-approved reflector on the rear visible from distances of 50 feet to 300 feet. A red light on the rear visible from a distance of 500 feet may be used in addition to the red reflector. Bicycle safety guidelines. 1. You may be required by law to wear a helmet depending on your local laws. 2. When riding on pedestrian facilities, reduce speed and exercise caution. 3. Do not weave in and out of parked cars. 4. Move off the street to stop, park, or make repairs to your bicycle. 5. Select a route according to the rider's bicycling skill and experience. 6. Bicycles may be equipped with a mirror. 7. Wear light-colored or reflective clothing to make it easier for drivers to see you. Riding in wet weather. Water makes certain surfaces slick. Be aware of manhole covers and painted stripes on the road. Water also obscures some hazards. Watch for potholes filled with water. In addition, the visibility of motorists is greatly decreased in wet weather. Chapter 14. Additional safety tips. Defensive driving. To avoid crashes, the defensive driver should 1. Stay alert and keep eyes moving to keep track of what is happening at all times. 2. Look for trouble spots developing all around. 3. Have a plan of action. 4. Know that the law requires drivers to protect each other from their own mistakes. Safety belts. The driver and all passengers, regardless of age, in a passenger vehicle are required to use safety belts if occupying a seat in a vehicle equipped with a safety belt. Any child under 8 years old must be secured in a federally approved child car seat if occupying a seat in a vehicle equipped with a safety belt, unless the child is more than 49 tall. Safety belt requirements include pickups, SUVs, and trucks. Safety belts help keep you 1. From being thrown from your car. Your chances of being killed are 5 times greater if you are thrown from your car. 2. From hitting the dashboard too hard. 3. In better control of your car. Whatever your reason for not wearing safety belts, it is dangerous and violates state law. Penalties for driving without a safety belt. A driver can receive a citation for not wearing his/her safety belt and for not having each child under the age of 17 in a safety seat or safety belt. Anyone who is at least 15 years of age can receive a citation for not wearing a safety belt. There are no exemptions to the safety belt laws. However, there are some defenses to prosecution for postal workers, individuals who deliver the newspaper, utility workers, solid waste truck workers, certain commercial farm vehicle operators, or medical reasons with a physician's note. Table 39. Penalties for not wearing a required safety belt. Conviction. Driving a vehicle without a safety belt. Penalty. A fine of $25 to $50. Conviction. Passengers under 8 years old and less than 49 tall riding while not properly secured in a child passenger safety seat system. Penalty. A fine of $25 to $250. Conviction. Passengers at least 15 years old riding without a safety belt. Penalty. A fine of $25 to $50. Conviction. Passengers under 17 years old riding without a safety belt. Fine assessed to driver. Penalty. A fine of $100 to $200. Conviction. Children under 18 years old riding in an open bed pickup or open flatbed truck. Fine assessed to driver. Penalty. A fine of $25 to $200. Vehicles with open beds. It is an offense to drive an open bed truck, an open flatbed truck, or to draw an open flatbed trailer when a child who is younger than 18 years of age is occupying the bed of the truck or trailer. It is a defense to prosecution that the driver was operating or towing the vehicle. 1. In a parade or in an emergency. 2. To transport farm workers from one field to another field on a farm to market road, ranch to market road, or county road outside a municipality. 3. On a beach. 4. That is the only vehicle owned or operated by members of a household, or 5. In a hayride permitted by the governing body of or a law enforcement agency of each county or municipality in which the hayride will occur. Vehicles with open beds towing a boat or watercraft. It is an offense for a person to operate a motor vehicle that is towing a boat or personal watercraft in or on which a person who is younger than 18 years of age is riding. It is a defense to prosecution that the driver was operating the motor vehicle. 1. In a parade. 2. In an emergency, or 3. On a beach. Open bed passenger restrictions. It is a Class B misdemeanor to operate a truck, road tractor, or truck tractor when another person occupies a trailer or semi-trailer being drawn by the truck, road tractor, or truck tractor. It is a defense to prosecution that the person 1. Towing the vehicle did not know another person occupied the trailer or semi-trailer. 2. Occupying the trailer or semi-trailer was in a part of the vehicle designed for human habitation. 3. Operating or towing the vehicle was a. In a parade or in an emergency. B. Transporting farm workers from one field to another field on a farm to market road, ranch to market road, or county road outside a municipality, or C. In a hayride permitted by the governing body of or a law enforcement agency of each county or municipality in which the hayride will occur. When stopped by law enforcement. If you are stopped by law enforcement, it is suggested you 1. Slow down and move the vehicle safely to the right of the road. 2. Park your vehicle as far to the right of the main traffic lane as possible. If available, park on the right shoulder or, if unavailable, park on a nearby well-lighted side street or parking lot away from high-volume traffic. 3. Place the vehicle in a parking position, set the emergency brake, turn the engine off, and activate the hazard warning lights. 4. If at night, turn on the interior dome light. 5. Remain in the car, lower the driver's window if you feel safe to do so. Keep both hands clearly in sight on the steering wheel. Wait for the law enforcement officer to give you instructions. An officer may approach from either side of the vehicle. 6. Before reaching into your glove box or under the seat to retrieve your proof of insurance or driver's license, inform the officer of where the items are located and follow the officer's directions. 7. If asked to exit the vehicle, check for passing vehicles to exit safely. 8. Advise passengers to remain in the car unless other instructions are given by the law enforcement officer, and 9. At the conclusion of the traffic stop, give the appropriate signals and safely return to the proper lane of traffic when released by the law enforcement officer. Obligations, responsibilities, courtesy and safety. State law requires a driver to immediately stop when approached by an authorized emergency vehicle, and you may be arrested if you do not stop immediately. If you feel the area is unsafe to stop immediately, or if you have concerns the vehicle is not a real police vehicle, you can take the following steps to minimize the risk of being arrested or charges being filed against you. Turn on your hazard lights and drive slowly and carefully below the posted speed limit. You may call 911 and remain on the phone with the operator while you stop and verify the officer's identity. You may drive to a nearby well-lighted, populated place to stop. It is important to understand that law enforcement jurisdictions overlap, and a local 911 call center operator may not be able to immediately determine what officer is working in that area at that time. If you stop in an unsafe location, such as on a bridge or a high-traffic roadway, an officer may direct you over the public address speaker to move to a safer location. Follow the officer's directions. Law enforcement officers, drivers, and passengers should respond with courtesy during traffic stops and other officer-citizen interactions. Drivers and passengers should not exit the vehicle unless asked to do so. Exiting your vehicle may be perceived as aggressive behavior and a threat to the officer's safety. Drivers and passengers inside a vehicle should not attempt to reach, dig, or search for their license or insurance documents before or while an officer is approaching. Drivers who transport handguns in their vehicles are encouraged to keep them in a separate location from license and insurance documentation. During a traffic stop, the driver and any passengers are subjected to an investigative detention, which may only last for a reasonable amount of time. Passengers can ask the officer if they are free to leave and do so if the officer agrees. Law enforcement may ask questions during this time. You cannot be punished for refusing to answer questions. However, drivers are required by law to display a driver license when requested by an officer. If you are lawfully detained or arrested, you are also required to give your name, residence address, and date of birth. A driver or a passenger who gives law enforcement a false or fraudulent identity or false answers may be arrested. It may be to your benefit to speak to law enforcement, such as to convey the reason you may have an emergency, or for the driver to provide the officer your name, address, and date of birth if you do not have your driver license with you. Law enforcement may also ask for consent to search your vehicle or person. You may grant or deny the request to search. However, if an officer has probable cause to believe that your vehicle contains evidence of a crime, it can be searched without your consent. If an officer reasonably believes that you have a weapon, the officer can conduct a pat-down search of your person and the immediate area around you, including areas of your vehicle. It is unlawful to physically resist a search, but you have the right to notify the officer that you do not consent to any search. Complaints or concerns. If you believe an officer has acted inappropriately during a traffic stop or other encounter, You should report that conduct to the officer's superiors and follow agency guidelines for submitting complaints against officers as soon as possible. Officers will normally provide their names and badge numbers on request, when practical. Due to the overlapping of jurisdictions, drivers should make sure they identify the correct agency as well as any identifying aspects of the officer and law enforcement vehicle. Drivers should refrain from arguing the validity of a charge during the traffic stop or detention. Signing a citation is not admitting guilt. It simply confirms your promise to pay the fine or contact the court. If you do not agree with the charge brought against you and wish to contest it, you should argue your case before a judge or request a jury trial and acquire the services of an attorney to represent you. False identification offense. A person commits an offense if she gives a false or fictitious name to a law enforcement officer who has lawfully arrested or detained the person. Evading arrest or detention. A person commits an offense if he intentionally flees from a person he knows as a peace officer or federal special investigator attempting to lawfully arrest or detain him. You will be subject to higher penalties if you use a vehicle or watercraft while evading arrest or cause injury to another person. Road rage. Each year, road rage, also referred to as aggressive driving, causes hundreds of injuries and deaths. Aggressive driving occurs when a driver becomes angry or irritated and as a result, fails to follow the rules of the road. An aggressive driver will intentionally aggravate or attempt to aggravate other drivers and in some cases cause bodily injury, property damage, or death to others. Tips to avoid road rage. 1. Plan your trip or schedule in advance. Allow extra time in case your vehicle breaks down or you encounter traffic congestion due to a crash, road construction, or rush hour traffic. 2. When caught in traffic, do not get angry. Try to relax and listen to music you enjoy. Remember, traffic congestion is usually temporary and you will soon be on your way. 3. Should you need to use the horn, tap the horn. Do not hold down the horn. Do not confront other drivers or make obscene gestures. 4. Do not cut into another driver's lane of traffic. Properly signal your intentions to change lanes and change lanes when it is safe to do so. Turn your turn signal off after you complete your lane change. 5. Do not intentionally slow down, slam on your brakes, or speed up to keep someone from passing or entering your lane of travel. 6. Do not tailgate. Follow at a safe distance. 7. Always remember to drive friendly and report aggressive driving to the local authorities. Neighborhood electronic vehicles and motor-assisted scooters. A neighborhood electronic vehicle is defined as a vehicle subject to Federal Motor Safety Standard 500 with a top speed of 35 miles per hour on a paved level surface. A motor-assisted scooter is defined as a self-propelled device with 1. At least 2 wheels in contact with the ground. 2. A braking system capable of stopping the device under normal operating conditions. 3. A gas or electric motor not exceeding 40 cc. 4. A deck designed to allow a person to stand or sit while operating the device, and 5. The ability to be propelled by human power alone. Both vehicles may only be operated on a street or highway when the posted speed limit is 45 miles per hour or less for a neighborhood electronic vehicle and 35 miles per hour or less for a motor-assisted scooter. Electronic Personal Assistive Mobility Devices, EPAMD. EPAMDs, such as a Segway, are defined as a non-tandem wheeled device designed for transporting one person that is self-balancing and propelled by an electric propulsion system with an average power of 750 watts or 1 horsepower. An EPAMD may be operated on 1. A sidewalk. 2. A path set aside for the exclusive operation of a bicycle. 3. On a residential street, road, or public highway with a maximum speed limit of 30 miles per hour only. A. While making a direct crossing of a highway in a marked or unmarked crosswalk. B. Where no sidewalk is available, or C. When so directed by a traffic control device or law enforcement officer. When operated on a public roadway, an EPAMD shall be ridden as close as practicable to the right-hand edge. Your keys to safe driving. Good vision. Obey traffic laws. Proper care of vehicle. Don't depend on yearly inspections. Perform regular maintenance as needed. Courtesy. Safety comes before the right of way. proper signaling. Failure to signal is dangerous and inconsiderate. Fitness to drive. Let someone else drive if you are not physically or mentally alert. Transporting cargo and materials. To prevent cargo or loose materials from falling or spilling from a car, truck, trailer, etc. onto the road and causing a crash or damage to the roads, drivers must comply with certain state requirements. A vehicle must be equipped and maintained to prevent loose material from escaping by blowing or spilling, and a vehicle bed must 1. Not have a hole, crack, or other opening through which loose material can escape. 2. Be enclosed by side panels and on the front by a panel or the vehicle cab.
3. Be enclosed by a securely closed tailgate or panel on the rear to prevent spillage.
4. Cover the load securely at the front and back of the load, unless completely enclosed in a compartment or the load does not blow or spill over the load-carrying compartment. No person shall load or transport any loose material on or over the public highways, such as dirt, sand, gravel, wood chips, or other material, except agricultural products in their natural state, capable of blowing or spilling from a vehicle unless
1. The bed carrying the load is completely enclosed on both sides and on the front and rear by a tailgate, board or panel, and all must be so constructed as to prevent the escape of any part of the load by blowing or spilling, and
2. The top of the load is covered with a canvas, tarpaulin, or other covering firmly secured to the front and back to prevent the escape of the load because of blowing or spilling. This requirement does not apply to a. Any load-carrying compartment that completely encloses the load, or b. The transporting of any load of loose materials not blowing or spilling over the top of the load-carrying compartment.
Safety chains.
Safety chains are required when certain types of vehicles are towing trailers in order to prevent the trailer from breaking loose and causing a serious crash. A person may not drive a passenger car or light truck while towing a trailer, semi-trailer, or house trailer on a public highway in Texas unless safety chains are attached from a trailer, semi-trailer, or house trailer to the towing vehicle. The types of safety chains and the manner of attachment must be approved by DPS. The requirements of this law do not apply to a passenger car or light truck towing a trailer or semi-trailer used for agricultural purposes, or to any trailer or semi-trailer or house trailer operated in compliance with the federal motor carrier safety regulations. Towing. When one vehicle is towing another, the drawbar, chain, rope, cable, or other connection must 1. Not be longer than 15 feet from one vehicle to another.
2. Be strong enough to pull all weight drawn.
3. Attach a white flag not less than 12 inches square. 4. Not tow more than 3 vehicles attached to it by mounting the front wheels of trailing vehicles on the bed of another vehicle and leaving only the rear wheels in contact with the roadway. This limit does not apply to trailers transporting poles, pipe, machinery, or other structures that cannot be easily dismembered. Carbon monoxide. Beware of carbon monoxide poisoning. Cars produce carbon monoxide, which is deadly gas. Make sure you are getting plenty of fresh air. Don't. 1. Leave the motor running in a garage. 2. Leave vents open when following closely behind another car. 3. Leave the motor running and the windows closed while the car is parked. 4. Drive with a defective muffler or exhaust system. 5. Use the heater or air conditioner in a parked car with the windows closed in an enclosed space. If you encounter a carbon monoxide poisoning victim, move them to fresh air and call 911. Steering lock operation. Vehicles have various systems used to remove the key from the ignition. Some ignitions automatically lock the steering wheel if the key is removed while moving. Here are some common steering wheel lock systems with a description on how to remove the key. Table 40. Steering wheel lock parking systems. Type of parking system. Transmission park system. Description. Shift the transmission into the park position. Turn the key to lock, then remove the key. Type of parking system. Two-hand button system. Description. This system requires 2 hands. Depress the button below the steering column. Turn the key to lock, then remove the key. Type of parking system. Lever system. Description. Depress the lever located near the ignition. Turn the key to lock, then remove the key. Type of parking system. One-hand button system. Description. Depress the button located near the ignition. Turn the key to lock, then remove the key. Type of parking system. Push-in system. Description. Turn the key to off and push in. Turn the key to lock, then remove the key. Type of parking system. Turn and remove system. Description. Turn the key to lock, then remove the key.